evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 419 of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. My name is Big Sexy Chris Rodell. No, you haven't seen me for a couple weeks. I've had some work things going on, but hey, you know what? I've been hanging out with the Wrestle Talk Podcast family on watching you guys online. We got a great show for you tonight. A whole bunch of high spots. We got a whole bunch of just great wrestling talk. Some news from around the country with independent promotions. But you know what? I can't do it alone. So I need to bring in first one of my co-hosts tonight. He is the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only, the Night Owl, Renee Martinez.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family. Chris, thank you. Thank you for such a gracious introduction, though I know for at least one particular reason you're probably not in the best mood today. A certain individual won a certain championship, and we'll be getting into that here briefly during the High Spot segment. But allow me to kind of take the baton from you and introduce our co-host, a man representing the West Side, the newest addition to the Wrestle Talk podcast lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Justin Waits.
Gentlemen. Night Owl, thank you for letting me be here tonight. Big Sexy, it's always good seeing you, my friend. I'm looking forward to having a fun night tonight with you guys. Night Owl, it's the first time you and me are going to be working together on here, and I'm really excited. I think we're going to talk about something in the Midwest scene that just happened that Chris wants to vomit about, and I'm particularly entertained by it because it seems like you got a good bad guy, good guy scenario with that title belt for Dynamo right now.
No, let's not talk. But you know what? We got a co-host with us for the first hour. Is that a thing?
It is now.
It is now. So let's welcome in the fourth member of our team. He's the one. He is the utility player for us at the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Big Hoss. Big Hoss, welcome. Come on in.
Hey, the water's fine, brother. What's going on?
How you doing tonight, fellas?
What's going on, my friend? I haven't talked to you in a while. You've been staying out of trouble up there?
Oh, that's no fun.
Have you been watching Joe get beat up by the wrestlers up there in the West Virginia area?
Unfortunately, that hasn't been happening quite as much.
It should happen more often, don't you think, Renee?
Well, I think so. And you know what? Since we have kind of an open block during the first hour without a first hour guest, that was intentional, my friends. We did so much with Wrestle Madness last week that we didn't even really get a chance to talk the hottest wrestling topics. So this week, we purposefully left the first hour open, not just for us to talk about professional wrestling, but for all of you to join us in that conversation. All you got to do is hit the comment section. It's not hard to do. People are already showing love. Shout out to Dean. Shout out to Assad. Shout out to Andrew Wallace and a few others that are in the comment section. Nothing but love and respect. But if you're really feeling like you got the gusto tonight, shoot any one of us a message. We will send you the link, and you can bring your stinking ass on the show and give us your terrible pro wrestling takes because we're going to give you all of ours.
Exactly. I mean, that's what we do here. And you know what? Some of these takes, they may be hot.
Yeah, they're going to be hot, and they're not going to be for everybody. I know we're going to piss at least a couple of people off because, again, we do have an extended high spot segment. So if you got something you want to advertise, pro wrestling you want to talk, hit us up, be a part of it. Remember, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. With all that said, gentlemen, I will go ahead and take this upon myself to kick off the show. It would not be possible for us to be here each and every Tuesday evening if it were not for all of our wonderful sponsors. Please look to the bottom section of your screen as we highlight Royal Mills Transportation, Rathbun Engraving, Noble Bins Barber Lounge, Kansas City, Missouri, Kincaid Arcade, I-70 Sports Media, Little Popeye Designs, and, of course, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter. All that out of the way, gentlemen. So many pro wrestling topics to cover. But first, how have you guys been? Hoss, it's been a while since we've seen you, bro. You doing okay? How's your old man, bro? Everything okay?
Everything's going as good as can be expected. He's got good days, bad days. It is what it is, and we're making it through.
Got it. Justin, I know you're a busy guy in the professional world, bro. You doing okay?
Oh, I'm doing great. Actually, I got on here at 5:02, right as I got done interviewing my last. I do investigations for a law firm,
Nice.
and I did an interview. I just got done doing my last interview for a case, and I hopped on here. I'm about 25 minutes from my home here in the Seattle area, and it's snowing profusely right now. But hey, I got a big tank of a Mercury Grand Marquis, so I'll just battle through that like nobody's business.
Let's go! I love that dedication, baby.
Plow through that snow.
Oh yeah, I drive like a madman. So
That's
yeah.
right. Well, that's the only way to drive when you're dealing with those conditions. And last and certainly not least, Big Daddy, the wrestling stuff aside, I know we're going to get to that extensively, everything that happened this upcoming weekend. But how are you as a person doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Work has been kicking my ass lately. I mean, we've been busy, and I've been working overtime. So that's why you haven't really seen me on Tuesday nights, because Tuesday nights seem to be one of my nights I work overtime. So, I mean, but work's kicking but you know what? I am too blessed to be stressed because I am here with you guys this week. I'm off this week, so so this is perfect for me. I'm off this week, so I can come on for this first hour because we got a whole lot to talk about. We got a whole lot to talk about.
No doubt about it. And just as a reminder, if you happen to be watching us in a private group on Facebook or on any particular private group that you're in, remember to go back up top to the description. There's a blue sentence at the bottom of the description. It gives us permission to be able to show your name during the live broadcast. Instead of popping up as Facebook user, we'll be able to actually identify and give you guys kudos if you deserve them. So again,
but you know what, Renee, I'm glad you said that because I always forget to say that whenever someone says Facebook user on there. But how are you doing, man? How was your Thanksgiving? How was your time with the family? What you been up to?
So personally, things have been okay-ish. Found out yesterday that somebody that worked for me for like 2 years, he was a wrestling fan, a neighbor, passed away at the age of 30, guys.
Oh man.
30.
Yeah, some sort of seizure in the middle of the night. I don't have many details. Shout out to Ernest Gillespie and his family, aka Trey. God bless you, man. We love you. So that's been kind of a downer. On the other side of things, my kids are doing great. Son's getting ready to start basketball. My daughter's doing a tremendous in school recently. So what can I say, man? Things are always up and down, for the night owl. But these 2 hours, these 2+ hours are kind of my escape from it all. That's why we push forward as we get closer and closer to episode 420 of the Wrestle Talk podcast, man. So thank you for asking. Not all great, but beyond blessed nevertheless, guys. No question about it.
That's awesome to hear. So I guess it's time to do what we normally do at this time.
Oh no. Okay, guys, we will warn you there may be a need to cover your ears here in just a moment.
But you know what? I'm gonna say, because Big Hoss is kind of taking over this introduction from Joe. So
Okay.
let's throw it over to Hoss to introduce, because I know he knows what we're going to introduce here. So
let's do it. I like it.
Let's go ahead. Hoss, go ahead and take it away. Let's introduce this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time to do as we do every week here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. It is time that we recognize the best damn country around, and that is America. So if you would remove your hats, place your hands over your hearts for the playing of our national anthem.
God.
Oh,
Every time. Oh my goodness, the booze. The booze.
I just. Oh, I think I'm gonna have a stroke every time I hear that part.
What's Joe's line again, guys? Anybody remember Joe's line?
Brings a tear to your eye every time.
Every single time. Well, gentlemen, without any further ado, the shenanigans all behind us, the sponsors credited, the listeners, recognized. Let's go ahead and get into it, because I'll tell you what. This week, we're going to make up for all the pro wrestling news that we weren't able to cover last week. And guys, if you did not go back and watch Wrestle Madness, shame on you. 3 hours and 16 minutes of the most in-depth pro wrestling coverage. The bracket started with 64 and we ended with just 1. So make sure that if you guys haven't had the opportunity to do so, that you go back and check out episode 418, Wrestle Madness. Come on, guys. It was incredible. With all that said, gentlemen, are you guys ready for high spots?
I was born ready.
Oh, absolutely. We're ready to go. We got a lot to talk about.
Let's do it, baby. High spots. Let's get it rolling.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like flare chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like a running speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops, like a clock flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast, now they know we about to start the show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are officially to the Wrestle Talk Podcast High Spot segment. Now, I know it's been a little while since a few of you have been on. My question is, do you guys know about this? Because it was requested by my guy Luke Skywalker Roberts, and we made it happen, guys. Have you guys heard about the randomizer?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I believe I was kind of running backstage until Jeremy came on with the randomizer. So
very, very nice. So for those of you that are new to the randomizer, it's basically still the same high spot segment. We all submit different questions. We hit the randomizer, and depending on where it lands, that's the topic that we're going to start off with. Is everybody cool with that?
That's perfect.
All right, let's go ahead and kick it off. You guys in the back know what to do. Go ahead and hit that randomizer, baby.
Big bucks, no whammies, no wham.
I love that
My
show.
line. That's my line.
Here we go. And there it is, gentlemen. Make sure you are unmuted. That is our first topic for the evening. Justin, why don't you take that question away for us?
Well, there's been a lot of complaints with Rousey's second go at the world of wrestling. I think maybe she might be little lost, and I think she would work in the bloodline. She seems like she'd be like the perfect person for Heyman. She needs a mouthpiece. It looks like she's a little more than rusty in the ring at the moment, and I don't know if she just needs that confidence from Heyman and the rest of the bloodline. But man, I just think it would work great with her MMA skills, her no, she don't take any, she doesn't take any enemies. She's a UFC fighter that's coming just like kind of like Brock was, and I think she'd fit in well. But there would have to be a storyline there to present itself to why Rousey would be in the bloodline, since she's not family, and then since she's not an honorary Us. So I'd like to see what happens. Tamina as well. That would just. I think they do need to get a female in there, though.
Love to hear that. Road Dog, it looks like you're itching at the bit here, or chomping at the bit, not itching. I know you've got your thoughts about the baddest woman on the planet, brother. Why don't you go ahead and take center stage and tell us how you really feel?
Well, I admit Ronda Rousey could probably kick my ass every day on twice on Sunday. However, it just ain't working. She's not. She can't do a promo. She's like Justin said, she's rusty in the ring. That match with Shotzi was hot garbage. And it's not Shotzi's fault. I mean, it's just not working. She can't talk. She smiles too much as a heel. I know putting Shayna by her side, but Shayna isn't a really good mouthpiece either. So she's not it. We need to move on. I think we're past the Ronda Rousey experiment.
Well, Hoss, the floor is yours. I know you've always been very, very vocal about whether you think someone deserves the opportunities that they're getting. Does she deserve the opportunity she's getting? And would she be a good fit for the bloodline?
Well, honestly, I don't really see a lot of female competition, strong competition that is on SmackDown, period, right now. And, I don't think she would fit with the bloodline. First off, what story would they make to make it make sense? And second off, she's always been a lone wolf, and I can't see. I mean, her and Shayna are kind of work together, and that might work because of the friendship that they have. But I can't see her joining a group like Bloodline. But I'm not against a woman joining Bloodline. I think that would be a good thing for a woman to join the Bloodline.
She needs a mouth. She needs a mouthpiece. She needs. I mean, Heyman's the obvious one, but Heyman's tied up with the Bloodline. It doesn't it doesn't really fit. But she just needs somebody to talk for her. I don't know if there's anybody that can talk for her, but
you don't need to talk when you're sexy.
Hard to disagree with that one, Hoss.
Then why do I talk so much? No, just kidding.
He is big sexy. Wow, hold on.
Fucking bullshit!
Got him. Oh my goodness. All right, so let me give you guys my thoughts, and we do have a listener who wants to join in on the high spots. This young man is very knowledgeable in the world of professional wrestling. He also happens to be an FWWC superstar. We'll bring him on here in just a matter of moments. So let me just give you my thoughts. I'm going to go to Ronda, but I want to say this. I don't think the MMA to pro wrestling thing is going as well as everyone thinks it is. Okay? We've seen some smooth transitions, semi-smooth transitions. Brock, Riddle, Severin, Shamrock. But once you go down the list of like the recent ones, Maria Shafir, no. Shayla Baszler, no. And I'm sure if I had a few more minutes, I could probably think of 3 or 4 more names. So just starting with that, I'm going to say, yes, you may be a badass. You may be almost the most feared person on the planet. That doesn't mean you're charismatic. I'm going to make the argument that Rodell's always making about the human charisma vacuum, Bobby Lashley. That is the same vibes that I get from Ronda Rousey, and it comes to one of the primary elements that makes wrestling entertaining. Gentlemen, I don't believe that she believes what she's saying. I don't think she's scripted. I don't think anyone's giving her cards. I think she's having a hard time tapping in to Ronda Rousey from MMA because that was real. To her, that was real. That was like life and death every time you went into the cage. And this, compared to that, may not be giving her that same jolt of electricity. I just don't see it.
And that could be why she's smiling so much during her. She comes out and she's smiling. She's supposed to be a heel, but she's smiling. I just
not believable.
Right.
It's not believable. And for that reason, I don't, just to answer the question, Justin, you can definitely jump in. But no, I do not think she'd be a good fit with the bloodline because everyone in the bloodline has charisma. She would be the only exception. And everyone would know that she's simply there because she needed a crutch. So she needs to do what Roman did for 6 years and figure it the hell out if she really cares about this business. If not, she'll be gone after she loses the title again, and she'll be gone for another year because we all believe she's a part-timer. Does anyone here not believe that Ronda Rousey is a part-timer and that she will never be a full-time WWE superstar? Raise your hand if you believe one day she'll be a full-time WWE superstar.
Well, I mean, she is working house. She does work house shows, so I mean, she's a lot better than some people.
I guess what I mean, no, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I guess what I'm saying, and Justin, I know you want to jump in. Yeah. What I'm saying is she going to go a full calendar year ever and work the same schedule as Bayley? Okay, is she going to work the same schedule as Alexa? Well, then why is she the champ? No charisma, no consistency, needs a crutch. Why is she the champ?
But
I don't get it.
Then you can say
Justin was next.
Okay.
No,
go ahead.
All I gotta say is,
go ahead, Justin.
All I had to say is, sorry, Rodell. All I had to say is that I had such high hopes for her when she had that intergender tag team match with Angle against Triple H and Stephanie. It was a barn burner, and it just seems like her candle was lit to the most extreme, and then it just starts slowly going down the wick, and she can't. It's like I wish she could reclaim that, but and that's why I think she'd be good in the bloodline because maybe they could raise her up where she's faltering at right now. So,
yeah, I mean, when she went away after she lost to Becky Lynch, I don't know. It seems like she's lost it since then. So she was kind of on a pretty good roll there when she lost to Becky Lynch and Charlotte, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh, real quick, by the way, I watched the other day Charlotte and Ronda from Survivor Series a couple years ago, and they tore the house down. They beat the holy hell out of each other, and that's the Rousey I wish we could get.
Rousey seems to be the kind of person that if she's got somebody that can work with her, it's fine.
Yes. Nailed it.
I should say, maybe I should say, if she's got someone that can lead her through things and not just work with her. I mean, I know that's kind of an inside type thing, but she needs somebody to help lead her. She can't lead a match. I think she was expected to lead versus Shotzi. It didn't work. It didn't work out. But you put her against a Charlotte who can lead through her. Put her against a Sasha, Becky. Any of those, they'll help her through that. And she was with Hunter and Kurt Angle and Stephanie to walk her through it. So
yeah.
That's her problem.
Also, look at how much time in the other matches they had to build those matches, and then look how much time she had to build this one from the time they announced Shotzi as her opponent until the match. She didn't have a whole lot of time to really build it.
I would agree with you there, Hoss. And here's the crazy thing about that particular matchup. Like, Shotzi's a phenomenal worker. But in this instance, like Rodell said, by default, Ronda's kind of the leader, the vet in this scenario because she's been with WWE longer, and I just don't know if she's at a point yet in her career where she can carry a promo on her own, carry a program on her own, or even a match on her own. And that was evidence, gentlemen, sadly, on one of the 4 biggest stages that WWE offers to us all year round, WWE Survivor Series. Definitely a disappointing match. And when you compare it to the Jamie Hayter match against the former champion Toni Storm, it doesn't even get into the same ballpark. And that is probably the surprise of the week, that those two couldn't keep up with those two on a significantly smaller stage, because that match between Hayter and Storm was as close to a 5-star match on a weekly show as I've seen in a long, long time.
But you also got to think that Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm are also pretty darn good friends. From wrestling down in the overseas for so long together. So they probably been doing this. And Shotzi's hasn't been around that long. And like you said, Rousey and Shotzi probably doesn't have enough. What's the word I'm looking for? She hasn't been around long enough where she can speak up and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to go this way with this match. So
fair enough. I just hope that this doesn't rub off negatively on Shotzi, because I think that's someone who can do it all. She can cut promos. She's got a badass gimmick with a little tank. Who doesn't want a little freaking tank like Shotzi? She's got the look, obviously, and I've seen her wrestle against some of the most badass dudes. I saw her and Christian Rose beat the shit out of each other for an hour right here in Kansas City, about 15, 20 minutes down the road. So Shotzi, the girl can work.
Shotzi ain't afraid of nobody.
Nah, bro. She kicks ass. She kicks ass. There's no question. Now, with that said, gentlemen, it is time to hit the randomizer again. But before we do that, let's welcome in the one, the only, a man that's certain to be a champion in the upcoming future of the FWWC, a man who competed for the Spartans Heart Championship at FWW Survivor Series, the one, the only, the Alpha.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Yo, ¿qué pasa, bro?
Are you in a closet?
Yes, I am. This is the quietest. This is the quietest place in my house. I'm in an apartment right now, so I'm hiding. Don't tell them I'm here.
That's the size of my first apartment. That room you're in right now. So.
Love to hear it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and hit the randomizer so we can move on to the next topic. Strap your seatbelts on.
That reminds me of Space Invaders.
Love that game. And there it is, gentlemen. I'll go ahead and read it off the screen. Dax Harwood has had some fantastic bouts with Jay Lethal, Claudio Castagnoli, Adam Cole, and I will add Daniel Bryan. Sorry, there wasn't enough room to put it all in, but upcoming match with Daniel Bryan. We'll start with our guest, who knows a thing or two about AEW. Alpha, is Dax Harwood a rising single star in the making? Take it away, my friend.
Honestly, yes. But I think it's truly, truly untapped potential. It's right underneath the surface, and then there's just this vast ocean of what's there. And I think the only thing stopping him is making the decision. I don't think it's he feels like he needs to stay with Clyde or Cash, excuse me. I think it's more just so whenever those two decide, you know what, let's break it apart, but not even like a breakup, just if they ever decide to be single stars, that's when we'll truly see it. But as far as answering the question and making a long answer short, yes, I absolutely think that.
Well, it is a 2-hour podcast, so I wouldn't be overly concerned with short answers, bro. You're good. It's Wrestle Talk. We're here to talk, man. Don't worry about it.
It's true, but when I tend to talk, I run in circles, so I end up just working it back around to what was I talking about.
All right, who wants to go next?
Hey, I'm going to go ahead because I'm a big fan of Dax, of FTR. I'm getting old school Hart Foundation vibes off the two, because there was a time when Hart would split off from Neidhart. They wouldn't split as a whole as a tag team, but for 2 summers straight before they initially when Hart won the Intercontinental title, they would split for the summer, and Hart would have phenomenal matches with Dino Bravo, Mr. Perfect, Rick Martel in the late 80s, early 90s. And I'm getting that same feeling from Dax. They're putting him in singles bouts right now, and I don't think they're going to have a turn on one another moment. I think it'll just they'll just split off and try to do their own thing with Dax, continuing to rise. I think I've seen some promo work from him in the last year or so. They had a phenomenal promo regarding their feud with the Briscoe brothers, and I'm just looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a singles push for Dax. I could see him as the North American champion. I think that's the belt in AEW, or the television champion, and then just build from there. I just really see high hopes for Dax. I think he's got great personality, and he's got great work in the ring. He's got like an Arn Anderson style repertoire, and it looks like he's got the size to where he could battle anyone. So,
and I'm going to read the comment down below here. I don't want to be critical of our listeners, but I just don't know if he's. I mean, 10 years maybe he's been.
I wouldn't say green.
I would say. I think I know what she's getting at. I think he's still yet to be proven as a singles competitor,
right.
But with the Murderer's Row that he's been running through the last 2 months, I mean, what more do you want from the guy with the opportunities he's been given? I think he's got the look, he's got the charisma, and he's got the in-ring ability to be a top singles wrestler. The question is the promotion willing to give him that opportunity? FTR may just be the most popular tag team in professional wrestling today, maybe outside the Usos. They're phenomenal. I'm not saying they're better or worse. I'm just saying popularity-wise, the WWE reach is extensive, but they may be number 2. So do you want to lose that element? That's something that has to be considered.
So I don't think that they're going to necessarily break up FTR. I don't think there's going to be, like Justin said, I don't think there's going to be the turn on the Sean Marty turn. You know, that's what everyone compares everything to, is Sean turning on Marty. I don't think that they're going to have that. I think there's still going to be a team, because it doesn't really seem like Cash really has any desire to be a singles wrestler. He wants to be a tag. Dax wants to go out and do his own thing. I mean, you know, but they're always going to be a team. And I will say that I find one of my favorite teams here recently, and I know Night Owl will probably appreciate this. It's the Lucha Brothers.
Okay, I thought you were going to say the Acclaimed.
No. I love.
I just want someone to scissor me, Daddy.
I love the Acclaimed.
Wait, it's over here.
That's the new handshake in wrestling. Is we scissor people now.
And doing that,
but no.
Justin, wait a minute. Hold on. Justin, what was that?
I will never shake anyone's hand doing that in a wrestling venue.
Okay, wait a minute. But when you were growing up, you did this, right?
No, I was doing this.
Okay, you were the too sweet guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understandable.
I can only imagine.
But you know what?
I can only imagine people in school now. You know how people used to get in trouble for the Austin shirts and the DX Suck It shirts? I mean, can you imagine coming into school with a Scissor Me Daddy?
Scissor Me Daddy.
To be fair, these kids on TikToks be picking up anything, so like I can see it happening. I'm just saying.
But yeah, I agree. I think I'm really looking forward to Dax versus Bryan Danielson tomorrow, because I think it's probably going to be it's probably going to be the match of the night.
It sells itself on paper. Just you don't even need to. You can just picture it.
Especially if you're a purist. If you're a purist, this is the match for you. No question about it.
Hardcore
Hoss, buddy, we got to get your thoughts, man. Jump on in here. What do you think about the old country boy from North Carolina, Dax Harwood?
You know, I like it. I think that, you know, he can be a pretty good singles wrestler, and I look forward to seeing more of him in a singles capacity. But at the same time, I do believe people still want to see a lot more FTR. They're not ready for him to go completely singles yet.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you a little bit, and then you guys can jump in and we can move on. You said pretty good. He's a pretty good professional wrestler. Is that enough? Is that enough to justify not necessarily breaking up FTR, but giving them their own lane as individuals? Does that justify not seeing as much FTR as we are used to seeing, especially with the, and no disrespect to Cash, but the injuries have been repetitive, especially for Cash. So you're saying he's pretty good. Is that good enough to justify that sort of separation, Hoss? I got to know.
Well, you know, to me, I never really go to anything being completely spectacular, absolutely the best. I never go there, because once you hit that, then, you know, then something else comes along. Oh, that's absolutely spectacular, or absolutely the best. It ends up getting overused. And so I don't measure things up to that point for the most part. It has to really, really wow me in order to hit something up that high. But I
respect that, though. I respect that because you're the only one out of us that's not completely on board. You're a bit skeptical, and I can appreciate that because it's only been a handful of matches. Justin, it's only been about a half a dozen matches that we've seen where Dax is. Oh man, we just lost Justin, but I think it's only been about half a dozen matches, right, Rodell?
I believe so.
Where we've seen him.
I know he's wrestled CM Punk. Did he wrestle Chris Jericho? Am I wrong in that?
Not 100% sure on the Jericho matchup. I'm sure we can look that up here in a moment.
I will look that up. Well, I will try to look
but as
that
far
up
as
while we're
singles
talking.
matches that I can remember, it's been about 6, but all 6 of them have been against notable opponents. None bigger, though, than this upcoming opponent in the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Alpha, Hoss, any final thoughts on this topic before we move on?
But yeah, I think he's got what it takes to be a singles competitor, but I do think that, he just needs a little bit more before he's really over in a singles way.
All right, I can dig it. That said, we will have Justin Waits back in just a matter of moments, guys. Are you ready to move on to the next topic?
I just had one thing to add.
Go ahead, bro.
What was it? I think if I were to book it, I don't know if anybody agrees with this, but if I were to book FTR, I would do it in a Gargano Ciampa way in the CWC.
Ooh.
But I would make it so that they were in separate brackets, and then you book it towards the end, and then you book Cash so that he gains something out of it by having him be like, I'm trying to max Dax because he knows he's like running ahead of him. And it's like he wants to sprint. He's like, if he knows his buddy's going to get ahead of him, like he wants to sprint to give him like one last tap to just be like, I caught up to my buddy.
So I think we've forgotten one match that Dax Harwood has had, and that was a qualifying match for the Owen Hart tournament back in April. I believe this is April 27th. It was Dax versus Cash, and that was
and they killed that. That was the first one of the series where Dax has gone on. Justin, we were talking about it being about 6 opponents so far that Dax has gone against.
Yeah,
is that right? 6 notable, none bigger than his upcoming match against Bryan Danielson. We agree with that.
Yeah. Well, he has CM Punk too.
Yeah, the first was Punk. His singles matches this year have been against CM Punk, Cash Wheeler, Adam Cole.
Hey, babe.
He's wrestled for New Japan. For he wrestled Will Ospreay, Jay Lethal, Claudio, and that appeared. Everything else since then. And on an indie show, it looks like the WrestleCade show over the weekend. He wrestled Speedball Mike Bailey. So I mean,
Murderers Row. I'm saying back to Hardcore Sis's point. Maybe he's a little green in singles competition, but so far from what we've seen, he's lived up to it. I mean, he has held his own against every single one of those well-respected pro wrestling athletes. I mean, do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Randomizer time, boys. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Next question. I'm excited to see what comes up next. There you have it, gentlemen. Our next question, Hoss, why don't you take that one for us, buddy?
All right. Well, let's see here. Several stars were left off of Survivor Series War Games.
That's paid live event, by the way. No more pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's a
premium.
That's right. Premium live event.
Okay. So, is it a big deal? I don't really think it is a big deal. Sometimes I think less can be more. It gives some of the matches that were there more time to really entertain people and not have to worry about sticking to a time limit as much.
I have an opinion.
Let's hear it.
the reason why there was only 5 matches on the pay-per-view because you had 2 War Games matches, and those were going to take 40 to 45, 50 minutes apiece, because you figure you have a 5-minute starting period, and then it's every 3 minutes that someone came out, and there are 4 other people, so 8 times 3, that's another 27 minutes or so, whatever. So you're looking 27 plus 5, that's 32 just to get everybody in the ring. So and you're going to give them time to you're going to give them time to work. And it's kind of like Triple H is doing this whole. Remember when he did the NXT Black and Gold when he would do takeover pay-per-views? There'd only be like 4 or 5 matches on and everyone's like, "Oh, that's not enough matches."
It's like the best thing they've ever done.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing they've done. The second best thing is making WrestleMania 2 nights because
yes, I agree with that for sure because I ain't got time to sit there for 7 hours. Like,
and that's a conversation for another time because people have talked about how they don't mind sitting for that time. I'm like, I don't know about you, but on a Sunday night, I have to go to work the next day and do everything on one day. But anyway, they did 5. They always did like 5 matches on the NXT, and they did it for about the same amount. It was like always 2.5, 3 hours. They gave each match, time. So, and you knew you were going to have these 2 War Games matches that were going to take at least 45 minutes apiece because you have entrances and everything. So that's 90 minutes of your pay-per-view right there just on War Games matches. So, I mean.
Well, and keep in mind, too, with the War Games matches, you had 2 teams of 5 people. So you got 10 people right there. And so that's what, 4 or 5, like 4 or 5 matches.
Right.
So
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you guys. I don't think anything was lost by not having Gunther on the show or Dexter Lumis or some of the stars that I think they're trying to kind of push to the forefront right now. I will say this though, you should have featured them the following night. I mean, if you're not gonna give them that opportunity on Saturday, not the following, and I'm sorry, the following Monday, like. Everything that Sheamus and Gunther built over the last 6 to 8 months has almost been completely diminished. I mean, that series was absolutely phenomenal, and to not find a way to capitalize on that, you know what? Screw a 2-hour pre-show, WWE. Give me an hour pre-show and then maybe 2 matches that I can actually watch and enjoy. Why do I have to hear Booker and the King and Caleb Braxton and whoever the hell is up there now talk about this match that they've been building up for 3 months already, bro?
That's what AEW's done with their they do the hour pre-show. They call it, I guess, the buy-in or whatever they call it. It's a pre-show. They still hype the pay-per-view. They do the video packages, but they have like 3 matches that people kind of want to see. He had the Best Friends, and people can't get on the paper. Aren't going to be on the main pay-per-view, but at least they get. They're there. They're having good, decent matches. So I mean, I don't know. I
gotta say, I'm completely feeling like this is the Big 4. Survivor Series is the Big 4. I don't get to watch all the shows every month like I used to. The Big 4. Survivor Series, Rumble, Mania, and SummerSlam. There was 13 boys missing from the Survivor Series with Braun, Bray Wyatt. Nothing. I guess The Miz, Riddle. Riddle feels like he's lost. I don't know what they did, what he's done, but I thought he was in the whole U.S. title picture, and now he's nowhere to be found.
Question for you, Justin. Quick question for you. And this is kind of related. Do you think that Theory has now passed Riddle?
Yes.
Wow.
Honestly, yeah, I agree.
It's very, very frustrating because I thought Riddle could be, WWE has so much potential for some, for guys like Riddle and Theory, these young guys. It's just, they could push them to the stars and they feel like they're failing. I feel like they're failing on Otis in the Academy. I thought he's bigger than the Academy, in my opinion. He's a big guy. Seeing him in the ring with Braun, that was neat. It just seems like, the New Day, they were regulated to pushing merchandise on Sunday. That is horrific. Kofi Kingston, having the former WWE champion, is regulated. You can't even, if you think about Kofi, you can't even put him and Roman in the same category, because you're like, wait a minute, these are what's going on here? How could this guy be a champion when you got a guy like Roman? How they portray him, it just boggles my mind how they just it's just like a cup of coffee, it's not like the old days, guys, and I think I'm stuck in it. So
and the only thing I'm mad about is that they didn't have a traditional Survivor Series match on the Survivor Series. Now I know why they didn't do it, because they already had 2 5-on-5 War Games matches, and I knew they were just trying to reintroduce the War Games concept to the main roster, as I guess the War Games gets called up to the main roster. So hopefully that won't be a part of Survivor Series going forward. And wait
a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna completely disagree. Dude, the traditional Survivor Series matches are useless. They're pointless. It's the same match without all the excitement. They're so freaking boring. There haven't been any good Survivor Series matches 5-on-5 since the early 2000s. If they could make it like that again, but if not, you gotta gimmick it up.
No, you were completely wrong. I'm gonna let Justin take it, because I think me and him are gonna be on the same page.
Okay.
I'll wait my turn.
2016, you had it was Braun, it was Jericho, it was Owens, it was Styles, and it was I believe Rollins against Roman, Dean Ambrose. Oh, God bless it. I'm blanking.
Shane, right? That was
Shane.
the last.
No, Shane was on that team, and anyways. They went almost a full hour, because the main event was Goldberg against Lesnar, and that whole hour I was captivated.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to chase a rebuttal, and I know Rodell's next. I just want to say this. Okay, great. Bunch of great names. This Survivor Series had intent. Okay, it was the Bloodline versus all the people that have been getting screwed by the Bloodline for a year. And it was Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch that have been getting screwed by Damage Control for 6 to 8 months. So maybe those matches were nostalgic because of the names, Justin, and I'm not disagreeing that those aren't great names. But after the match, it meant nothing. But now with the Bloodline, the Sami Zayn moment and everything aside, it actually feeds into the future instead of just being one dope match with a bunch of badass wrestlers.
No, and I loved War Games. I got the whole real quick, and I'll stop. I'll give everybody. I want to give everybody the equal amount of time. I got in that War Games with Bloodline against Sheamus, McIntyre, the Brutes, and Owens. It felt like old school War Games from the '80s with the Horsemen against the hodgepodge of Dusty Rhodes, Nikita Koloff, the Road Warriors. It gave me old school vibes, and I'm glad the Bloodline won. I thought the right team won. So
fair enough.
Just tell me you don't like the random, like, thrown together teams from like back in the day. I mean, come on, you had like DX and CM Punk and like Kofi Kingston, I think, was a part of the team. Back when they were just throwing people together. I mean, you had like back in the day, you had like Hogan and Tugboat teaming with 2 other people. I mean, those are the kind of things you get, random people thrown together, and they do. That's teams of 5 strive to survive.
Well, I read a interview with Triple H where they asked him, were the days of the old 5-on-5 matches gone? Would we ever see them again? And he said he would not say that we would never see them again. But what he would say is there's a time for everything. And sometimes you just have to go back to something. And right now, it was the time to change and a time to bring this style 5-on-5 match in. And that he felt it worked. And it did. It worked.
Oh, yeah.
And, he said, though, he would not say that they would never go back to the old style. It
So
just all
I'm
depends
hoping-
on what's wanted at the time.
I'm hoping next year, hopefully, they get a little bit more structure with this Raw versus SmackDown thing, and we actually have the Raw. We need to split the tag title. We need to split the tag titles and the world title. We need to split those titles back.
The question is who? The question is who? Alpha, we know we lost you for a second here.
I wanted to preface this, by the way. I apologize, guys. I was looking for my charger. I'm at like 40%. I didn't want to just cut off in the middle of the stream. I should have typed that out.
You want to know the secret about? You want to know the secret of live streaming?
Yeah.
We pretend like it never happened. Just keep going. Just keep going.
It was the demon in my room. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So to add to that, I wanted to agree with what you were saying earlier, Night Owl, about the fact
and that's why we brought you back on. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
But the check's in the mail. So I wanted to add that I think that first of all, I think experimenting with war games at the Survivor Series is fantastic, because I don't think that people understand that having the Survivor Series match solely just because it's Survivor Series diminishes the value the match has. Because now with war games, you have a match type that you can at least have a car crash in. So even if you just got to stick some people who are feuding against a lot of these new groups, because we have members that are reaching into the 4s and 5s now, so we can expect to see this match type in the future. And I hope we do, because it's awesome.
Factions.
But now you can add the unpredictability and then the nostalgia of people being like, we're going to settle this in a traditional Survivor Series match. No cage, no nothing. We're doing this old school. And then you get the pop of people being like, oh shit, Survivor Series. Sorry. Oh crap, Survivor Series is back. And also now you have the benefit of them doing whatever kind of main event they want to do in the future. Like we can get Hell in a Cell there because now that's not a pay-per-view anymore. So
and you can also you can also throw war games in any time of the year. You don't need to if you don't tie it to Survivor Series, you can tie it. It could just be a blow off of a feud, kind of like a Hell in a Cell match should be, and not a specific pay-per-view on its own.
And it appreciates the match too, because now everybody's like, "Oh, snap! We got another War Games match." The unpredictability comes back of a person running out like your Regal going War Games. Not out of the sake of it's November, so let's do the War Games. Like,
I can only say this, guys, and this goes for Road Dogg, Adjusted, and for Hoss as well. Isn't it great to hear a young guy say, kind of give kudos to the old school and recognize how great it was? Like, shout out to you, Alpha, for being so knowledgeable about what's going on today, but to be able to correlate it to the past and how we got here. Kudos to you, because I feel that there's so many fans, the new age fans, that don't really pay much interest or care about kind of what it took to get here. And a lot of people don't know, and this I'll give credit to our folks over at CAC. We were hanging out with JJ Dillon in Las Vegas. Hopefully you guys will join us next year. But, bro, he was a part of the original War Games match that Dusty Rhodes came up with. And the fact that you know that and that they brought that up during the broadcast is something that makes me tremendously proud, because we got to be able to correlate the history, the present, and the future of professional wrestling all the way together, man. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I got to admit, I admire you for knowing that stuff.
Thank you. And the thing is, I got this mentality because I was always obsessed with watching, older stuff, because back then the network didn't exist. And it was like you had to, go to Blockbuster or something, or find the pay-per-view, or be lucky. I only saw one pay-per-view and it didn't even work. Like, that was the thing. I never sat down and watched a proper pay-per-view until I want to say 2015, 2016. And I saw TLC, and it was fantastic. And anyways, to my point though, is that I was obsessed with learning about stuff that, because I didn't know anything about wrestling. It was all surface level. My uncle had DVDs about Hulk Hogan and stuff like that. But then it got me to ask questions because he has really old tapes. He has Starcade tapes. And and then I actually got the mentality from an interview with Jim Cornette. And, say anything about Jim Cornette, but I stand by his philosophy, which is you can learn more about wrestling from its past than by watching its future. And I think that represents it a lot, because people make comparisons. You get your Flair Steamboats, you get your War Games with Dusty and Nikita Koloff and all that stuff, and you see it's reflected in modern day, where you have different characters that feel like that. Like, to me personally, Bandito, he's a modern day Hayabusa, both in the mask, the way he composes himself, his in-ring style. So I thank you. Like, that makes me feel good because I like learning about this stuff. I'm watching a YouTube series called History of the King's Road, and I love hearing about AJPW in the 90s and storytelling. It was crazy.
And I think one of my favorite things about the War Games match for the men's War Games match was the fact that Roman Reigns was sitting in a chair directing traffic the entire, and Jay is getting beat up by two people, and Jimmy obviously wanted to run out there, and Roman's just like, no, send Sammy. Him just directing the traffic, and Paul Heyman just standing there with all the belts, just agreeing with everything. And he was sitting in the chair, and it was so casual. It was like he was like putting no effort into it. So that was there used to be this like column on the wrestling site that I go to all the time. It used to be called Hidden Highlights, and where they pick the things in the background that a lot of people don't notice that mean a whole lot to the match. I love that stuff. That actually added to the match because he's just like, no, we're gonna send Sammy and see what he's got.
What do you guys call that? Isn't there a video game term for that? Alpha, like when they have
Easter egg.
Easter egg. Perfect. It's that, and I absolutely, Big Sexy. I agree with that to the highest caliber, because one of my favorite matches of recently, that's like, I swear I can say that it's probably up there as my all-time favorite match in modern memory, is Ilya Dragunov versus Walter. And my favorite detail in that match is when he clubs him for the first time, Walter staggers back, and then he's got that look in his eye, and it's like, this man put the fear of God in Walter, and it's the best image. It harkens back to one of my favorite movies, Creed, where he finally, he ducks the hook, he hits him, and then he's got the scar under his eye, and then that's when the guy starts backing off. And it's like a masterclass in that, this is what makes wrestling better from MMA and stuff like that, is that you get that, you get that pageantry, you get that theatrics, you get subtle things of your final boss sitting in a chair being like, no.
And it's like sometimes you're only going to catch that if you've been a part of the wrestling business or you've watched it for a long time. You see that little like subtle details that they add. So, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, we can talk all day about whether the 5-on-5 or the 4-on-4 Survivor Series matches should be brought back. I think there should be, if you're having a pay-per-view called the Survivor Series, you probably should have a traditional Survivor Series match. But with the War Games, it kind of took the place of it. It was basically a Survivor Series match in a cage. So,
yeah, it was bad as hell. I know that we give them a lot of crap for not doing things the right way, but I mean, I think we all have to admit, I think about 6 months in, the Triple H era has definitely been an improvement over what we were getting before.
War Games definitely had Triple H's stamp all over.
It felt like NXT on a bigger stage. That's what it felt like, NXT on a bigger stage. That's the vibe that I got, and that's a good thing.
If I could add something, I will say it's weird that we hold Survivor Series to this standard of having a match just because it's called the traditional Survivor Series match. Yet all the other big four don't have anything associated with them. So I'm like, who's to say? I mean, like, I know it was built on the match.
Well, the Royal Rumble.
The Rumble calls, they went there.
But they experiment with the format in Rumble, so like, I don't know. I guess
I like that though, man. I like that. Yeah. Just like every sport should evolve. Not the evolution isn't always good. I mean, you could look at football and the wussification of sports or whatever. But I mean, at the same time, we have to realize that there has to be progression, and it's not always going to be to our liking. We got to move forward. I think that's a positive thing, and the fact that Triple H has the confidence to try these sorts of things. And I would say 8 out of 10 times nails it. I think it's a great sign for the future, boys. I think it's a great sign for the future.
I'm hyped.
All right. Well, speaking of hyped, we are nearing the end of the first hour of the show, and we are going to take a short break. But before we close it out, I want to do one thing. I want to pull up a picture that one of our friends sent me, and one of our friends made sure to tell me that if I did not share this picture and specifically show it to Chris Rodell, that he was going to boycott the Wrestle Talk podcast. So because we are men of the people, we got to give the people what they want. So Chris Riddell, my sincerest apologies as I share this historic image with you and the other members of the Wrestle Talk podcast family.
Uh-oh.
Chris,
I need a bucket.
Okay, so we're going to give you the stage here for about 45 seconds.
Beautiful belt.
And by the way, in case you guys didn't notice, Hardcore Hoss is clapping or was clapping profusely.
Somewhere Joe is clapping, and
Joe cried that night. I want to know what happened. Talk us through it for those that weren't there this past Saturday night.
So this past Saturday night at Thanksgiving Slam, it was Benjamin Trust defending against the Snitch. He bullied his way into a title shot in October.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean bullied?
He basically he attacked Tommy Davis, one of the young up and coming wrestlers in the area. Attacked Tommy Davis, demanding a title shot. Crystal and Jim would not give him the title shot. He put Tommy Davis's leg and ankle into the chair and did the concerto and did the stomp on it. Did the same with his arm and almost separated his shoulder. And so Benjamin Trust came out and said he would agree to give the Snitch a title shot as long as he did not hit Tommy Davis with the chair. Tommy Davis, in Snitch fashion, he still hit Tommy Davis with a chair after Benjamin Trust gave him the title shot. And that came down this week. And unfortunately, there are some things that say that Benjamin Trust's feet were on the ropes and the Snitch's feet were in the ropes and the ref was distracted. But as it stands right now, Dynamo Pro Wrestling is now the land of the Snitch. And we're gonna have to deal with it. And I've had more things on my desk for Dynamo Pro Wrestling than I've had in a long time. And I respect the Snitch. He's put me through hell these last 5 years. And yeah, so
over a 5-year crusade, the Dynamo Pro screw job, was it 4 or 5 years?
Screw job. It was like,
okay. I'm just saying, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of dedication. And really, if I take off that hat and put on another, long-term storytelling. You don't see that in the indies. A guy that runs the same story for 4 or 5 years on the indies with the same promotion, that's why the indies are better than the big show, in my opinion. If you're locked in with a local promotion, okay, if you're locked in with a local promotion and you're bought in on those storylines the way that I know Hardcore Hoss is bought in over at WDWA, which we'll talk about that here in just a second, there's nothing better than that feeling. I can't even describe it.
The official count before he got the title was, we've been running this quote unquote screw job angle for 1,855 days.
Wow.
It's
4 years. 4 years.
It's run through realized we had the pandemic in there. I mean, we realized we had the COVID shutdown in there. So
right.
That kind of extended it. Of course, that was probably blamed on Dynamo Pro Management too, because the Snitch wasn't getting his title shots. And it all started, and he didn't even win the match. He was part of a battle royal.
Fans are calling for the rematch. Just let it be known.
Yeah, I mean,
Jim and Crystal, that way they know. Fans are speaking.
I don't know what's going to go on. I don't know what's going on in the boardroom. I know they're talking about what's going to happen in December. But the whole screw job came from when we did a show at Four Hands. The winner was going to get a title shot. Snitch hid the whole match, eliminated a competitor. I believe it was John Webb. But Brandon Aarons still had not been eliminated from the match. He went through the ropes in a battle royal, and you have to go over the top rope and both feet hit the floor. Snitch didn't know that. Brandon eliminated him, got the title match, and so that's where the screw job started.
Okay, so we do have some people here that are not necessarily like on either side of the fence. Hardcore Hoss, how are you feeling about this whole Snitch thing? Just briefly here.
I've said for a while now that I thought the Snitch was just misunderstood, and that I thought he deserved an opportunity, and he deserved to be understood, and he deserved to be respected. And obviously, it finally happened. So, I'm happy for him, and congratulations.
Not a dime. All right. I don't know what's going on with the soundboard here. I apologize for that. Clearly, you guys have been waiting for your comeuppance. You have it. Congratulations to the Snitch for becoming the new Dynamo Pro Heavyweight Champion.
And as soon as I find out what's happening on the 17th is our December show. It's going to be Saturday night, December 17th at the Concordia Turners Hall. Also, you can catch me. You're going to be able to catch me twice in December. I'm going to be at South Broadway Athletic Club for MMWA doing some ring announcing. So
nice.
That's my guy staying busy out there. Way to go, Road Dogg. Well,
people love me.
Well, it is DJ Big Sexy, and you are in high demand, no question about it. Well, Alpha, listen, we're getting ready to get into FWWC. We're going to get into some snippets of truth. We're going for the full 2 hours. We'll take a vote here. If you're able and willing, you want to stick with us throughout the remainder of the show, because I'm okay with it. How do the rest of the hosts of the show feel?
I want to stay on. The only other segment I want to be on is part of Big Daddy P because I got a couple things.
That's coming up next.
So coming up next. After Big Daddy P, I will drop off. So
sounds good. All right, what do you guys say? You guys want Alpha to stick around with us? Alpha, are you available?
Yeah, he's fine.
Go?
Yeah.
I'd be honored. I'd love to.
It's going to be a good one. All right. Well, we do have Big Daddy P coming up here in about 3 minutes, so we got to rush through everyone's favorite segment. Well, one of the favorite segments of every single week of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get it off of our chest. It is time to go through a little bit of a therapy session.
I have something this week.
Oh, you got a good one. I love it. All right. We haven't done it in a little while, and we'll let Big Daddy P join us immediately after, because I think after this therapy session, we're all going to need some prayer. I'm going to be honest. I think we're all going to need it. So, guys, go ahead and hit the music as we get into this week's edition of the Wrestle Talk podcast Shoot and Shout segment.
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fun, everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life's on contract. Your best bet's to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he says, she says bullshit.
All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and go into it. And for those that are wondering, that is the Broadway version of Limp Bizkit's One of Those Days. I think that's what it's called, right? I think that's what
Break Stuff.
Break Stuff, right. That is the Broadway version of Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. Look it up. It is absolutely wonderful. Rodell, you seem to be vocal tonight. You seem to have it coming out your chest, baby. Why don't you take the lead here on tonight's edition of Shoot and Shout?
This has nothing to do with wrestling at all. I have a prop too. This has nothing to do with wrestling. I recently, my razor cut out on me, so I had to go buy a new one. So I bought the same brand I always buy, the three-headed Norelco one, and I get it. And of course, you can't use the same power cord. They always send you a new power cord. So I get the power cord. I get that. What the fuck is this? It's a USB port. It's a USB. That's the other side. Where the frick am I supposed to plug this into?
What type of phone you got?
I live in I've been in
You
the
got to shave on the podcast.
I've been in the same apartment for almost 15 years. All I have is regular outlets. I have to go find an old brick from an old cell phone to plug this in so I can charge my damn razor. What the hell, Norelco? What the hell? It's a USB. I'm not using this on my computer. I'm using this on my goddamn face. This is bullshit.
Fucking bullshit. I had to do it again. I had to. Wow, you got to shout out to MEP. My man doing his own podcast on YouTube, Michael's Corner. Make sure you guys check him out. Tell him the Wrestle Talk podcast sent your stinking ass. Who's going next? I'm ready. Y'all want me to go next? I'm ready. Night Owl is ready, baby. Let's go ahead and do it. Guys, it's simple. And we may lose some listeners over this, but the Night Owl, well, I don't give a damn, and that's the bottom line. You know what drives me crazy? Every single week, I feel like I have to put out the same message. I have to make the same comment. And God knows that I hate being critical of the people that support the show. But I mean, come on, guys. We want to have a reputation of having highly intelligent fans. And when I see shit like this week after week after week, Facebook user my ass, bro. I am so sick of y'all with this Facebook user bullshit. Bro, all y'all gotta do is hit. You want me to put it in Spanish? You need it in Korean? What do I need to do to remind your stinking ass to go up to the top and hit that blue little paragraph? All you gotta do is hit it and hit approve. Listen, I love you guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for buying the merch. Thank y'all for sharing the show and all that. But I mean, come on. If you're gonna come on and show us love, we gotta know who you are, man. We want to see your beautiful God-given face. Please hit the sentence at the top of the description so that we know who the hell you are. Because Facebook user, you're pissing me off.
Well, maybe you have to put it out in Mandarin or something. Maybe you need to learn Mandarin or like.
Maybe I gotta call John Cena for that. John Cena can help me with the Mandarin. All right, who's next? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sick of Facebook user.
I got something if y'all will let me.
Well, you're here, aren't you? Let's go.
Yes, I am. So I just gotta say, I recently saw a post about I believe it was Swerve Strickland, and he won the undisputed Defy Heavyweight Championship. I might have to fact check that, but he recently won it. And I have seen the most ignorant comments in my life of these people who just don't want wrestlers to have success. They see them in these venues, in these public areas, in these gyms and all this stuff. And to them, they're like, oh, whatever, this dude just working in a gym, all this stuff. And I'm just like, how dare you? How dare you criticize these people for the lifestyle that they choose as wrestlers, as performers, and as people? That is ridiculous, man. Like, to look at somebody's way of how they live their life, because I swear people are just obsessed with success, and anytime they think that they're like, oh, this person couldn't cut it in WWE, maybe they're not trying to. Like, has that ever occurred to you that they have a successful job with direction on their character? They get to book whatever dates, they get to go wherever they want to go, see people that they want to see. And they're just sitting there like, nope. I mean, I'm sitting here in my basement typing away, talking about how this is stupid. And I can't appreciate that these people enjoy their life. Like, apparently. I just.
Whoa, Alpha, easy. Somebody stop the damn match over here. Wow. Well done, sir. You are a natural at the Shoot and Shout segment. Again, guys, we are just 2 minutes away from Snippets of Truth with Big Daddy P, and we still got a couple of people to get through. Who's next?
All right, I'll go real quick.
Yeah.
Big Sexer's talking about Norelco. I'm going to talk about razor blades in general, okay? Every time I'm on here, I have different facial hair, and it's because my goddamn hand is shaking when I shave. I can't control it. I wish it would come out with a razor blade that steadies your hand when you're shaking. That's my only bitch, because I'm looking like Farva from Super Troopers right now, and I'm not thinking about that. But if I take this off, I look like a serial killer, and I can't have that look at my job. So I got to have something. So that's my bitch.
Wow. Justin, you are also a natural at the Shoot and Shout. I didn't know there was so much anger behind those kind brown eyes, man. I had no idea.
Behind the kind brown eyes is also a good 50 milligrams of anti-anxiety medication that I take every day. So that's keeping me calm as well. Otherwise, I would not be in a nice job that I am in now. I'd probably be on the streets shouting potato salad. So,
well, 4 out of 5 doctors recommend you don't hang out with the night owl if you have high anxiety. I'm just letting you know right now.
That's all right. I'm friends with Skywalker. That's good enough. So
yeah, that guy makes me a little anxious. I gotta be honest. Yeah. All right, Haas, you know what to do, baby. This ain't your first time, and this ain't your first rodeo. Give it to us, man. What's chapping your ass tonight?
Just people who don't know how to drive that think that they need to try to make you a non-driver as well. Not too long ago, I was going down the road, and this guy just kept riding my bumper, flashing his headlights. I was getting ready to turn. I got into a turn lane. He got behind me, laying on his horn. And then when the light, when I was able to turn, he went straight through the light from a damn turn lane. You know, what are you blowing at me for? You're the non-driver. Learn how to drive. Don't take it out on me because you don't know how to drive.
Road rage is a classic. Way to go, Haas. Appreciate the effort, guys. We all set here for the shoot and shout segment. Has everybody got it off their chest?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Well,
even though I gotta go find a brick for this, but that's okay.
All right, go find it. Well, guess what, guys? The show just keeps getting better and better because in about 10 minutes, we got the CEO hitting us with some FWWC. We're gonna wrap up High Spots, and then we're gonna close it out with the American hero, Johnny Faith. With that said, amigos, make some noise and reach for the sky and praise because the resident chaplain is getting ready to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. We love him. The one and only Big Daddy P.
Is that a Jeff Hardy figure?
No, baby, this is the Big Daddy P doll. What's the matter with you?
Oh, I couldn't see. It was
Big Daddy P.
Hey.
Oh my gosh! It's you in shape, my guy.
Dude, please don't let anyone know this. How you doing, my brothers?
Oh man, Big Daddy P, bro. Before you get off and running, let me just say thank you, bro. Thank you for everything that you do in your ministry. Thank you for bringing your ministry here to the Wrestle Talk podcast. Thank you for helping us with the website. A lot of people don't know that not only are you resident chaplain, you're also the CEO of Painter's Dream Productions. The Wrestle Talk podcast website is made possible by those sweet cheeks right there. You help us, you maintain it, you educate us, man. You keep it popping and doing it right. Thank you for everything you do, brother. How the hell you been?
If I was any better, I'd be twins. Could you imagine two of me?
God, no.
Oh, hey.
Hey, I got
much better.
Hey, look at the new office, baby.
Woo, easy now.
Nice.
What are you watching?
Nice.
What are you watching?
What do you think? Hello?
NXT.
NXT's on right now. Give us an update. What's going on? What do we miss?
Well, there's been a lot of women on here tonight. A lot.
I can't say that's a bad thing.
Everybody's looking great. Listen, everyone looks great. They have a segment set up with Shawn Michaels and Alundra Blaze and Road Dogg and X-Pac.
Molly Holly.
It's not bad. But listen, man, there's so much going on. I can't even begin to tell you how incredible it is. First of all, did everybody have a great Thanksgiving?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
Just coming out of the coma myself.
And now we got Christmas coming up, right?
Yeah.
So we got a lot of people who are down and depressed because they lost somebody this year during the holidays or last year or even within the last 10 years. The pain is still very real. So as we get closer to the holidays, it's really important for us to petition heaven. It's free, doesn't cost us anything, on behalf of those who are hurting, because we're blessed. You know, we're blessed every day that we can be on the air. We can talk about his goodness. We can talk about wrestling. You know what I mean? And there's other people who are less fortunate. So I'm thankful for all the Lord that the Lord has given us. And I'll tell you what, tonight's Snippets of Truth, man, it's going to knock you all over if you're ready.
And I don't know if everyone has heard this or not, but it was reported yesterday or Sunday that Mickey James is Mickey James of TNA Impact, her brother and her 16-year-old niece and her niece's 15-year-old friend passed away in a car accident, and her sister-in-law is in critical condition last time I heard, in the hospital. So we'll need to send some prayers up for Mickey James and the family. And I personally need a little bit of a shout out because my best friend passed away 15 years ago, and I just found out that one of his sisters that I knew really well and talked to occasionally passed away over the weekend as well. So
Chris, I'm sorry, buddy.
Over the Thanksgiving holiday.
So sorry about that, Chris.
So
Blessings your way, brother.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. So, but I'm not the only one suffering out there. It just you just never know when it's going to be your time. So.
Chris, I'm going to make it all better and take my shirt off.
But isn't it great how he says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest"? He doesn't say if you're good or if you give 10%, I'll give you rest. He says, "Come, just come." So if any of you now are struggling or having a hard time, he's listening. He's ready to hear from you. You don't have to talk in fancy words. I don't even think words are even necessary sometimes. So again, just remember that God is here. He is very much alive. He is very much active in the world. And if you don't believe me, the fact that I think all 5 of us are on here now, well, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. That might not be the case next week. It could be down to 5. And that's just reality. So today I was teaching Pakistan. I teach the Bible to these little areas that have 6 or 7 people with grandmas, and it's not a big crowd, but they love the Bible. And today I was sharing with them about the word hope and how hope can be an acronym for helping other people every day. And what they didn't realize was we're always thinking about hope in a matter of what we're going to receive. But it's really a matter of the hope that we give, because that's the one way. Love is a verb, so we can show it through helping other people every day. And that's why we do this, guys, right? That's why we put this on the air
every week. You're damn right.
I mean, none of us get paid for this.
Nope.
This is not about the money.
Nope.
It's about the heart. It's about making ourselves available for a lost and dying world. And the truth that I have for everybody tonight is something that Jesus specifically said. And it's funny because people forget sometimes. I don't care if it's in red or if it's not in red. The fact is, if it says it, I believe it. And I just want to know if I can share it.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
In John chapter 6, 35 through 39, he says, Jesus said to them, and it's the them he's referring to as those who are listening. Because keep in mind, there were always people around Jesus, but he knew their motives. He said, I am the bread of life. The one who comes to me will not be hungry. The one who believes in me will never be thirsty. But I said to you that you've indeed seen me, and yet you do not believe. Everything, pay close attention, everything that the Father gives me will come to me. And the one who comes to me, I certainly will not cast out. That is a promise.
Let's go.
It says, for I have come down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. And this is the will of him who sent me, that of everything that he has given me, that means all of us. When you put your faith and trust in him, you become part of the family of God. And he says, and he has given me, and I will lose nothing, but raise it up on the last day. So if you're trying to work to earn it,
we got one.
Happen.
We got one, Big Daddy P. It says here real quick, if I send a prayer request, it would be for my autistic friend Devin, who passed away in 2019 from a brain hemorrhage. I just want to share a prayer. So they're reining in, and I too have one that I want to add. Obviously, people, with the amen, your words are hitting us, man, where they're supposed to. I shared this with the guys earlier. A guy that worked with me for 2 years as one of my employees, also my neighbor. For 6 years, father of 4, only 30 years old. We lost him last night to like some sort of seizure in his sleep. So Ernest Gillespie, a.k.a. Trey, God bless you, hermano. Love you. and his family is got to be going through it right now. So I want to pile that on top of everything else, Big Daddy P, because that's why we do this, right? Not only to kind of share the gospel, but also as a therapeutic session. That's why we do the shoot and shout and fun, and that's why we do the national anthem and fun. We love America. We're all in pain, but wrestling is what kind of unites us all, man. And that's, like I was saying before, is a beautiful thing.
Without a doubt. And what a time we live in. Do you know this is the only time period in history where we have a completed Bible and the filling of the Spirit? The only time. So we're without excuse. So if you are a believer, if you do believe that Jesus Christ died for you, guess what? Relax. Whatever goes on around you, don't worry about it. Don't panic. Just rest, because either he's in control or he's not. And I just want to encourage everybody listening, not only that he's in control, try him. I dare you. I have never had a challenge say to me, I tried him and it didn't work. Just stop fighting it. Give in. Let God be God. You be you. Keep loving one another, man. Unity is so important. That's what I love about this group, is everybody's always unified.
Wrestling, baby. That's what brings us together, and also our love and affinity for the Lord and Savior. Big Daddy P, you know what to do, baby. We'll bow our heads. Give us those snippets, Daddy. We ready?
You tell us in your word, Father, that you've come not for peace, but to bring the sword. We live in a world where hatred and anger and a lack of love has just saturated the world. But there's a remnant, Father, that I know you know exists. It's your church. And you've given us this opportunity to come to you with all of these petitions. You have all the facts. There are so many people hurting because of who they've lost, because of what they're going through, what health issues that they're struggling with, financial issues. These are all things that you told us not to worry about. Why? Because you have a solution for them. And I thank you in advance. You're called the Comforter for a reason. And everybody that's listening right now, Father, I pray that you continue to comfort them, that you continue to guide them, that you open every door that needs to be open, close every door that needs to be closed. With all the noise going on in the world, sometimes it's hard to hear you. And there are some people who say you're not listening or you're not in control, but we know different than that. And we thank you for Wrestle Talk. We thank you for the technology, for the internet. We also thank you for this country, because this country is called a client nation. It's a nation that you have put together with your own power and strength. A country that is supposed to serve you and honor you and respect you. But just like in the days of old, there are those who want to do their own thing. And that's who we want to pray for now too, Father. Those that don't know you, that you would open up an opportunity for us just to love them, not to judge them. I love in that scripture you talk about those who fall in love with you are never thirsty. I remember when I heard when I was younger, Father, about you saying, come to me, and I wouldn't. I didn't want to because I thought I had it all figured out. And I learned later on that I didn't. And so there are people who don't know you, who haven't fallen in love with you like we have. And we just pray that this moment is dedicated to them, that somebody will fall in love with you today more just because we showed up. Thank you for all that you continue to do. Thank you that you continue to use this as a vessel of grace to shower your love upon a lost and dying world. We love you, and we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen and amen. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only Big Daddy P.
Him. It's him.
Appreciate everything you do for us. One last question before you go. Did you like the War Games versus the traditional Survivor Series? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I love pro wrestling, man. I love it in the backyard. Hey, by the way, Mrs. Hartman got a little surprise and an early Christmas present. We got, Raw's coming to Nashville in January.
Is it?
So I picked up 2 tickets. So we get to go. It's been a while. So she's very excited. She has never been to a WWE live
You're going to
event.
have a blast. You're going to have a blast. We promise.
Everybody, this is Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
This
Hey,
is
what's up, y'all?
This is the strength behind Big Daddy P besides the Lord, of course.
Of course, man. You're much, much, much better half.
Yeah, right. Much cuter, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Man.
I wasn't gonna go there, but okay. Since you went there, it's like, yeah, she's much better looking than you. No,
well, you might
hair
try.
is fabulous.
Well, I was gonna say you might try a hairbrush, Big Daddy P.
I had to go to the doctor with my sister today with my hair because you know me, it's always whatever.
Right.
Except on Sunday when I go before the congregation, it's slicked back nice. But every other day, it's straight up like 2,200 gigawatts. You know, and I'm just waiting for it to turn gray. But she said, "Hey, are you going to brush your hair?" I said, "I did already."
Yeah, I wish I could say that I could relate, but clearly I cannot. So neither can Justin and Joe or Hoss.
This is my choice. I have a full. It's easier. So
it is easier. I agree. That's right. Sure. Well, some of us have it by choice. Some of us have no choice. Big Daddy P, we love you, brother. God bless you. We will see you next week for Snippets of Truth for episode 420. How about that?
Thank you, guys. Hey, gotta love it. See you later.
That's right. Big Daddy,
great guy.
What'd you think about that, Rodell? Was that pretty good?
Oh man, so inspired. You kind of need that sometimes, you know, with everything. It seems like that's happening over the holidays. So I mean,
yeah, you know what's crazy? I was just thinking about it. Episode 420 is coming up, and guess who's getting ready to join us, ladies and gentlemen? Right off the heels of Snippets of Truth, Mr. 420 Twin himself. The one, the only, and I do believe we have some music for you tonight. Who knew? I guess the CEO is starting to get a little bit of that chitter change, and so we get music when he comes on the show now. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, the originator, the creator, the head administrator, the one and only, DeJuan Mills.
There he is.
Okay. Can I do the headbang?
Yeah, man.
Let's go!
Hey!
Yeah!
Let's go.
So I want to say before I need to drop off because I got to take a call here in a second. But the CEO, is always good to see you. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, my good man?
Excellent, man. Went to bed at 2:00 the night before because, you know, that's Wild Turkey Wednesday. Woke up at 10.
Wild Turkey Wednesday.
Was done cooking by 2 p.m., eating by 3. Me and my wife kind of tag team in that kitchen, baby. Teamwork makes the dream work. We had to make it happen.
Is there nothing better than Thanksgiving food? Honestly, the turkey, the stuffing, the mashed potato. It just, man, I love Thanksgiving food.
You know what's even better? When you have 3 kids that eat it in one day. We only had 1 day worth of leftovers.
Really?
Wow, that's awesome.
I know people that are still eating Thanksgiving.
They're freezing it. They're freezing it.
So, but
what's happening?
I just want to say thank you for coming on. I have to head out because I got to do a couple things. So I appreciate everyone. Renee, Justin, Alpha, everybody at Haas. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you on the flip side. You guys stay out of trouble the rest of the night, okay?
Everybody say bye to Rodell. Peace.
Take it easy, Rodell. Love to have you on the show, man. You're the best.
That's right.
Love that, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the road dog is gone, but in his place, for a few moments, we get the CEO of the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. DeJuan, I know we can go on and on about how much you love the FWWC and what it represents and how it gives people an opportunity that can't be in professional wrestling to be about as close as you can be. We compete, we do promos, we have real championships, but what I really want to know, what was the biggest surprise to you? Because you booked it. You're the booker. You're the Dusty Rhodes of this shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. What was the biggest surprise outcome of all the matches that you booked for FWWC Survivor Series?
After clearly over 370 days, I don't have the exact number, but after clearly 370 days, one of the long, or if not the longest reigning FWWC World Heavyweight Champion, Luke Justice, was dethroned by none other than Marcus Mayhem. I'll be honest with you guys. This was one of my more favorite cards to book because as we course into the end of season 10 or the end of the year, not quite the end of the season, but as we kind of take our foot off the gas pedal, I wanted to kind of tie things up and wrap things up as it relates to booking and the superstars and storylines. So the reason it was one of my favorite, because number one, everybody was involved. Everybody that competed this year, everybody that was involved this year, everybody was on that card and everybody did an amazing job. Extremely proud of Marcus, extremely proud of Luke, extremely proud of all those guys who are involved in that match. Because, again, this is a hobby. This is something we get paid for. But the dedication and the time that they took to not only promoting their matches, doing the role play, being involved. Shout out to you too, Hardcore Hoss, and to you too, Alpha. You guys did me proud. I always say this. I make the matches. The superstars make the magic. I may book the shows, but all of that fanfare you see is up to the FWC superstars, and they killed it this past Saturday, and it was an amazing show. And if that is our last show of the year, maybe not, I will say we ended it on a high note, man. It was great and it was fun.
Well, no question about it. Hoss and Alpha. Justin, I know you may be new to this. I know that the FWC is not everybody's cup of tea necessarily, but I know you can feel the passion coming through the screen every time somebody from the FWC joins us. Can you agree with that?
Oh my God, yeah, I would highly agree. I have never done any type of fantasy stuff sports-wise, and I just never had a time for it. I respect those that have dedication to it. I just can't keep my attention span. I get very frustrated very quickly if something doesn't work right, and I just don't want my heart broken.
I can understand that. The perspective of a man on the outside looking in. I do want to let both Alpha and Hoss, I do have to step away for a moment. So Hoss, if you could help me with this, I would really appreciate it. But let's let Alpha go first, because I'm sure he's got thoughts on his match, and then maybe even a question for the CEO about Survivor Series, and then maybe what's coming afterward. Alpha, you know what to do, baby. What do you got for us?
Well, I feel like I have to take responsibility for, not being able to cash the checks that my mouth pushed out. But unlike Luke Justice, this isn't on about reflection. This is about my status here in this company. And I feel like I need to explain to everybody why it was I was looking for the Spartans Heart Championship in the first place. And that's because one individual here seems to have eluded me for so long, and his name is El Mata. And now I don't want to get too into this, but it's the FWWC podcast, or rather the Wrestle Talk podcast, and I feel like I need to take my opportunity. And that is that Mata, I have to ask, when does the glass ceiling get shattered for the Alpha? When does he have to stop being told that he's not ready for the main event? Because I've heard it from every other face here in the FWWC. I've heard it from Daniel Grimm. I've heard it from Lilith. I've heard it from Marcus Mayhem. I've heard it from Funky Flex, and it's a rotted, jawless, toothless corpse at your feet, and you're telling me that there's life there, and I don't see it. So I just have to ask, when is the Alpha's time?
Man, time varies, sir. With this particular season, how we did it, I didn't want to show any favoritism. So that's why things were booked storyline in that fashion. It just wasn't a bunch of different random stuff. So now that we're at the end, as I said before, I know 100% for a fact we will be participating at the Royal Rumble in January. Now, will that be the beginning of season 11 or the tail end of season 10? That remains to be seen. Here's all I know, boys. It's December. Christmas is up. Should I say it's coming? The holidays are in. You guys deserve the rest of the month to do exactly what the heck you want to do, how you want to do it. Will there be matches? Maybe. But it's not a pressing thing. So, Alpha, your opportunity, your chance at El Mata will come. May not be this year, but looking to next year, we're going to make things happen. But now that we are at the end of the year, going into holidays, we need to focus on one thing. And I say this is the most important thing in the FWWC. That is family. Focus on your families. Focus on your loved ones. Enjoy the holidays. The page will still be open. Maybe one or two matches. I don't know. But we've put so much into this, and we actually, in my opinion, deserve a little bit of a break. So it ain't a break technically, but we gonna chill for a bit. That's all I got.
Well, I'm glad I at least have an answer for that.
Darn right.
Anyways.
Very passionate from Alpha Hardcore. What do you got? What is your take on all this?
Well, I know that Remy Ricks is going to come back and try to say, well, Hardcore Haas, you fell short again. You didn't win the match. But you know what? And he might be right. I may not have came away with a victory. But, one of the last things I said was that I wished good luck to the others in the match.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did tell Lilith to stay the hell out my way. But, one of the things I did say, though, was I guaranteed I would get even with Remy Ricks. And there were several times that I did get payback on Remy Ricks.
Mm-hmm.
I did take that barbed wire bat and smack him in the head with it, just as he did me. So, in reality, I did accomplish what I said I would, even though I may not have came out victorious. But that's okay, because he did not come out victorious either, and he did not beat me because I was not the one pinned in that ring for that 1, 2, 3. And it wasn't because of his hands that I was not pinned.
Exactly. Interesting. Extremely
so,
interesting.
Dewan, as a booker, how do you handle that? Like, okay, so Haas has a legitimate point here. He didn't necessarily get pinned. So is this one of those situations where you set up some sort of grudge match? Or, is that something that's yet to be decided? I'm curious.
I ain't gonna lie, it is yet to be decided because I haven't done the darn thing all week. We had a challenge last night to determine who was going to be the tag, who determined who was going to retain, or should I say, a sudden death match last night between the tag team champions and the challengers. Shout out to Prophets of Madness, they retained, and also the hybrid television champion. Shout out to Swag, he retained. Ooh, excuse me. So, as it relates to booking, as it relates to anything storyline related, I've done absolutely zero, but we will have a recap show this upcoming Thursday. Now, I may do this live. I may do a StreamYard. I got to talk to my engineer, but we will have a recap episode this upcoming Thursday at 7:30 on the FWC tonight, and we'll go into more detail. And yes, that is correct, Sister Haas. You did tie with El Mata, which, by the way, if we're doing shoot and shout, if we're talking, give me 2 seconds and I'll let it go. In the 20 years I've been watching professional wrestling, close to 20 years, I've been watching a long time. Attitude Era, Federation Era, Ruthless Aggression, PG, whatever. In my 20 years of watching wrestling, I have never seen a wrestler's entrance video being replaced with an ad. Was I the only one that saw that on Saturday? I'm like, wait a minute. Theory's coming out to the ring.
Oh, Lord. I'm so glad you said something.
During this entrance, and that's not the. Here's the kick in the face. The kick in the face is this.
Go on.
They lose this Money in the Bank for some stupid stipulation for the U.S. title against Seth Rollins. Then they show some ad or toy commercial. It might as well have been Power Rangers. Then they give him the belt. What the heck? And that literally screwed multiple people in the FWC. A little bit of detail. We make picks for the matches. Whoever scores the most points, whoever scores the most, gets the most correct guesses at the end of the night, wins their match or whatnot. So, Theory wins Saturday after. Well, I got wings. He wins the match after they show an ad during his entrance video. What are they doing with this guy? I was like, what the heck?
By the way, Dewan, probably not the best week to make a Power Rangers joke. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Come I think we got a drop for that.
I feel like I need a preference. I actually picked Theory on the card.
All right, Dewan, before you go, I got two last bits that well, the first thing I want to show you is this. So a couple of weeks ago, we had an MLW superstar on the show. I don't know if you remember. And he sent us a piece of merchandise, and he said to me, Night Owl, I want you to give this to the most deserving person either on your team or in your fan base. And he goes, and if it's somebody that's both, give it to that person. And dude, without a shadow of a doubt, you are both one of my favorite supporters and one of my favorite contributors in the history of the Wrestle Talk podcast. So for that reason, sir, I would love to award you. I would love to award you with a brand new Alex Kane hoodie, baby.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Not for me, not for you, not for the culture, but for everyone, baby. The Suplex Assassin sends this to you, Dewan Mills. Right from the heart, my guy. Congratulations, my guy.
That is sick, yo.
The only question is, are you a 2X?
Yes.
Ooh, okay, perfect.
I was a 3. Shout out to 30 pounds on it, baby. Got to work it.
Fantastic.
I was a 3. Down to a 2. Let's go. That's dope.
What are you gonna say,
That's
Justin?
Real dope.
Look at that thing.
I love it.
He said he used to be a 3 and now he's a 2. I'll take the 3 for him. So
there you go.
all the way you lost. Hey, Dewan, all the way you lost, we found it.
We're not gonna fight for that one. I'm sorry.
No. Congratulations, bro.
Now, didn't you say he was going to have to pay the shipping and handling to get it?
That's
to
right.
him?
That's right. It'd be $150. That's right.
Yeah.
More like gas to drive to his house.
Congratulations, bro. Congratulations, and obviously the members of the Wrestle Talk family super duper happy for you, bro. Thank you for all your hard work. Yeah, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for making the FWWC the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. And guess what, folks? We ain't done yet, because potentially as early as this Friday, we may be back in action. If not, next Monday. If you want to be a part of the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, hit me up, hit up Hardcore Hoss, hit up the Alpha, hit up the CEO. We're not hard to find. Make it happen. Guys, it is the closest thing to professional wrestling that you can do without actually stepping in the squared circle. What do you got, Justin?
You guys, I got to get some information on this, because I'd like to be on the ins and not on the outs of this when you guys talk.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
You guys will have to help me, though.
He's opening up Pandora's box.
Let's go, man.
I've never done any fantasy type stuff, so I'll just need some little assistance.
Yeah,
we definitely need more people behind the scenes to help.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's getting a little busy in the FWWC, and that's for good reason, man. For good reason. Dewan, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time. Blessings to you. I know you heard all of Big Daddy P's segment, man. So you already know from us to you. Bless you and your family. Hopefully you guys have a great holiday, and we will talk to you next week.
Side note, breaking news, Chiefs game got flexed. It will be against the Broncos. That game got flexed to 3:30, 3:25, week 14.
All right, cool. All right.
Move the game for the Chiefs fans. Let's go.
All right. All right, Dewan, take it easy, bro. Catch you next time. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the CEO, Dewan Mills. And guys, we're not even close to being done, because our featured guest of the evening is getting ready to join us. But before we bring him on, we've got a bit of business to handle. So, Justin, if you wouldn't mind, could you help us go over our prestigious sponsors here tonight?
Yeah, we got Nobleman's Barber Lounge, KCMO, I see down here. Kincaid Arcade at Oak Park Mall, Interstate 70 Sports Media. Little Popeye Designs. We got the Tumbler and the FWWC World Premier Fantasy Wrestling Group.
That's right, which we just heard from.
You wanted me to say.
You did it. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Okay.
We gave you cue cards and everything, man. Way to go. Way to go. That's awesome news. The only other thing I wanted to say before we bring on Johnny Faith is, if you guys missed the news last week, I did make an announcement that I am formally stepping away from all my commentary duties effective immediately. So yours truly will not be at Wrestle Brawl. I apologize for that. The very, very capable Rusty Rex and Tommy Snow will be there. And between me and you guys, I've been threatened. The reason that I'm stepping away a little bit early, because I was going to do it for all of 2023, but the reason I'm stepping a little bit early is the Empire has made threats against me and my family. And as much as I love wrestling, I'm not going to risk the well-being of my family to go to a wrestling show, whether I'm committed to it or not. I always take the priority of my family's safety as paramount. So unfortunately, because of the bullying and the harassment that has gone on for over a year and a half, via the Empire, the Night Owl will not be there for Wrestle Brawl 2, but I know that Rusty and Tommy Snow will do an absolutely tremendous job. I could not be prouder of the 4 years that I spent with XWE and UCW and MEW and KCXW and AWR and everybody that had the opportunity to work with. But for 2023, the Night Owl is going to step away from his commentary duties and focus on what's most important, on fitness, finance, and family. And not in that particular order, or maybe in that particular order. But I just wanted to make sure that I reiterated that to everybody. And I will be doubling down on my Wrestle Talk duties and doubling down on my FWWC duties. So don't worry, guys. You ain't rid of me yet. It's just I'm going to step away from the commentary stuff, just so you guys know. Is everybody cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I feel like I need to throw that in there. Without any further ado, though, ladies and gentlemen, a man who has served his country honorably, has served the professional wrestling world honorably, and quite frankly, is an American hero. This gentleman is going to be competing for what he believes is his United Liberty Championship this upcoming Saturday at Wrestle Brawl 2. Join me in applause as we welcome in the one, the only, the aforementioned, the American hero, Johnny Faye. Yeah.
I'm indestructible. I won't break. I take down whoever get in the way. It's the little pit bull, Johnny Faye. Nobody safe when they see the chains break. Let's go to war.
Wow. All right, Johnny, it looks like we got a little bit of a buzz with your audio. We're going to give you a second to sort that out. Let me give these guys a bit of a background on what's going on with Johnny Faith at this moment, okay? And he will be rejoining us in just a moment. Looks like we got a buzz with his audio. But guys, Johnny Faith and Joey Gambino is a rivalry that will go down in XWE history. The United Liberty Championship it's kind of been in the middle of a tug of war between these two guys, and I hate to say it, but part of the reason it's been that way is because Joey Gambino is a member of the Empire, which I talked about just a few moments ago. So with that said, let's see if we can't get Johnny back in here. Okay. All right, Johnny, it looks like we still got a little bit of a buzz. Do you guys hear that buzz when he comes on, or is it just me?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
So, Johnny, just log out, log back in, bud. I promise you it'll almost work perfectly, guaranteed. If not, try like a pair of headphones. That should fix the problem pretty easily, okay? So here we go. We'll have him come back. But anyway, so Wrestle Brawl 2, guys, happens this upcoming Saturday in the great state of Kansas, courtesy of the Kansas Wrestling Alliance. And one of the reasons that I'm so hurt about not being able to be there is that the Bobby Jaggers Memorial Battle Royal, the second annual, will be happening that evening. Last year, it was won by the prodigy Aaron Helms, and I was lucky enough to be in that building that night. We absolutely packed the place, and I got to call those matches with my ring announce buddy, or my commentary buddy, Rusty Rex, man. So I know that without a shadow of a doubt, Wrestle Brawl 2 is going to be just as big or bigger as Wrestle Brawl 1. On that note, Johnny. Yeah, we definitely still got a buzz coming across from you, bud. I'm so sorry. All right, we'll let Johnny, we'll give him a few more moments to kind of sort out his audio issues, but I don't want to spoil any of the stuff Okay, wait a minute. There may be some truth there. It's the Empire hijacking the audio. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, listen, they've done worse things to me. They threatened me. I remember I was outside of a building once. I was on the phone with my wife before the show. I always like to talk to her on the phone before I go in and do my thing. And they were walking around the block like they were looking for me. I had actually run in my car and pretend like I was going to the gas station because I was like, Brian, I got jumped before, Brian. I ain't trying to let that happen again. I'm a grown-ass man. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let it happen. Yeah, dude, it's bad. All right, let's try Johnny Faith again. Hopefully the audio issues are gone. Boom, baby!
There we go.
I had to take the headphones out.
The headphones out. Yeah. Well, I got the Beats joints too. They're usually pretty good. I don't know,
man. They just weren't working out, I guess.
All right. Well, Johnny, man, we bought a little bit of time because we wanted you to get your audio situation under control, and I'm glad that we did because, I mean, you heard some of what I was saying about the Empire. Before we get into your particular match, can you describe to us, and I believe you're the heart and soul of XWE. That's just my personal, between you and Paradox, Justin Gray, a couple others, man, Stormy Renee, some of you guys are like the heart of XWE. You are definitely one of those people, bro. Can you talk to us what has changed in XWE since the introduction of the Empire and how it's affected you directly and indirectly?
So the Empire, I think me and the Empire's beef started at Haunted Havoc last year. Joey Gambino, Vern, the chaplain, Virgil, the chaplain of XWE, he was in his greens giving a thank you to the veterans, thing that he does. And Gambino wanted to come out and run his mouth. And, I saw that and, immediately I snapped. We started brawling.
Oh, wait. Well, so when you say the greens, okay, and you're a military man, thank you for your service. I more than tip my cap to you, my friend. Thank you very much. But when you say in the greens, are you saying that Mr. Virgil, the chaplain, was in full uniform?
Yeah, he was in his full, dress green uniform with his ribbons, everything like that. And I think he was doing a veterans, something with veterans. And he always does a prayer, before the show with the wrestlers who want to partake and stuff like that. But Joey Gambino came out and wanted to get in his face. And, I know Virgil, I know he could take it and I know he could dish it out, because, he was a decorated guy and looked like he could rumble in the alleyway. But, I just, the switch flipped in my head and, I immediately went on the offense and just, attacked him. And ever since then, ever since he wanted to disrespect a fellow veteran such as myself, I felt the need to, give him a few shots to the head and remind him of what respect is and, what his fighting for your freedom really means.
Well, I love to hear that, man. The sincerity and the passion absolutely just resonates with all of us, and it comes through the screen. Now, Justin, who's one of our newer hosts, Justin Waits here, he's actually up in the upper Northwest. But Justin, I know in the Seattle area, correct. And I know that you have an affinity, not just for professional wrestling, but local professional wrestling. When you see a guy like Johnny Faith with the credentials he has and his service to the military, and you see him take those talents, not to South Beach, but to the pro wrestling world, man, how does that make you feel? Because that's got to be encouraging as a fan to see guys of this ilk, of this prestige, taking that skill to the world of professional wrestling, which we love, right?
Oh, God, yes. I love seeing the discipline and just the wherewithal to give everything you got out there. Johnny, I saw before we came on the show, I was trying to do a little research on you guys, and it looks like I watched the endings of a cage bout, a team cage bout you guys had. It looked like on October 30th. And it made me think of old school blue steel cage from back in the day. And man, you guys put on a good bout, and I just appreciate all independent, wrestling in the Midwest, the Northwest. There's a handful of companies up here, Defy, and in a town not even 10 minutes away from me, there's a company called Without a Cause Wrestling that I've been trying to hit up. But it's just good seeing good old style battle warfare in the old school blue cage, man.
That match was a long time in the making, for sure. Over a year in the making. It definitely was. It was our War Games, and I know I tuned in earlier.
Oh, I love
you guys earlier, and y'all were talking about War Games, because of Survivor Series. But we just had ours at XWE in Salina, Kansas, at Haunted Havoc last month, and it was a war, that should still be watched to this day because there was just so much like emotion, and it's a year in the making, and it's XWE versus the Empire, and that feud has just been boiling for more than a year and a half now. And Renee's been on the front lines of that war, just like I have.
I'm sorry I won't be able to be there with you on Saturday, Johnny. Like I said, man, it's gotten a little bit too hot in the kitchen for yours truly. I love professional wrestling. It's a good time, but with some of the threats and some of the harassment that I received, man, I think it's probably just better to leave it to a professional like Tommy Snow, that doesn't have any, pre-existing beef with the Empire, because God knows if things don't go Joey Gambino's way in this match against you, they may just burn that building down. And I'm not talking about figuratively. I'm talking literally, brother. We all know what they're capable of. Now, we know what you're capable of, and we know you're not no slouch. So before I ask you this question, I want to throw to Alpha, who is in Florida, right, Alpha? Is that where you're at? You're based out of Florida, also not in the local area. So you're a younger than us wrestling fan. Do you get out to the indies much, man? And if not, whether you do or don't, I know we all have a special affinity for what the guys do on the independent and local level. What are your thoughts or questions for Johnny Faith here tonight?
Well, to answer your first question, I'm trying to find the direction for it, because I don't know too many wrestling fans that go to local shows here. So I'm trying to see if I can find Facebook groups or Reddit posts, or just hopefully I can stumble upon somebody doing something. But I want to, only because I live for that kind of stuff. And the venues are cheaper, so I'm able to go and do a
$15, bro.
Yeah, and I get to support local wrestlers that I'm like, dude, I want to see these people succeed. And I'm an artist, so it's like I would love to get networking for that kind of stuff. I'd love to make a T-shirt that becomes really popular and stuff like that. But as far as it's awesome to have you on the show, Johnny. I'm in awe of any wrestlers who goes, and thank you for your service. And I'm in awe that you are able to be a wrestler and give us your opinion on that kind of stuff, because I can only imagine, I can only dream, and to get that input is what I live for. Because even if I can't understand the actual, physicality of it, I love to understand the mentality and where people are coming from, especially in a local area, because you gotta get around, you gotta meet people. And it's, if I can support wrestling in any way that I can, I would especially love for it to be meeting people like you,
Yeah, gotta kiss the babies and shake the hands. Justin, what do you got?
Hey, Johnny, like I said, did a little research on you before the show. It says that you wrestled in over 10 different states. And out of the states that you've wrestled in, which one is your favorite? And is there a different fan base in every state that you visited, or is it pretty much consistent?
Great question.
So I started wrestling and training in Kansas with Billy Simmons in Salina, Kansas at the KWA training facility. Wrestled in Kansas. Then I now live in Southeast Georgia. So coming out to the East Coast, Southeast United States, I kind of had to start from scratch and, work my way, messaging bookers, promoters, so I could, find work, because I was a brand new face on the scene. And, from Florida to Georgia to my home state of North Carolina, answers your first question. That state will always be, my home, no matter what. Even though I call XWE home in Kansas, wrestling in North Carolina will always have been a dream of mine, and I will always be humble when I can wrestle in that state, especially in my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'd always enjoyed being able to have the chance to wrestle there. I've wrestled there twice in my career, and
go Heels, baby.
I would love to go back, to my home state. And then as far as are the fans the same? Yes, the fans are the same pretty much everywhere, especially for me, because I'm a pro USA, American hero. So, no matter where I go, really, it's, USA chants everywhere. Certain places are rowdier than others. Certain places, are, more old school, like the technical, wrestling instead of the high spots and stuff like that. and it just depends on where you go. I mean, I've wrestled in the mountains of the Appalachians, and those guys were great. Wrestled in, places like Tampa Bay, Florida, and they were great. Wrestled in Kansas, they were great. So everywhere, they just have their own unique qualities about them. The fans do, everywhere you go. So for me, being the American hero and the USA guy, it's pretty humbling how much they get behind me, for sure.
I got a question. It's going to be way out of line, and I'm going to acknowledge it beforehand. But between North Carolina and Kansas, which fans have more teeth?
I don't know. I mean,
I couldn't help it.
Come on, Night Owl.
I'm sorry, man. I couldn't help it, man. What do you want me to do?
But being able to wrestle in both of those states, they're good. Especially North Carolina, that's my home state, so I'll always be great wrestling there. But Kansas, I make the trip. I make the 1,200-mile trip every month to Kansas for.
Oh man.
1,200 miles. People don't believe that. That's a real deal. I share the locker room with this guy. Now, as brash as that was for me to bash both Kansas and North Carolina, which are both awesome states, I want to hit you. I'm sorry, guys. Just a little comedy relief here, okay? Just you can't hit a home run every time, okay? But I do want to pull something up that we were talking about earlier, Johnny, and we're going to get into your match here with Joey Gambino to more extent in a moment. But there is another uber talented wrestler from the beautiful state of North Carolina. See how I make up for it, guys?
Ooh,
and his name is Dax Harwood. Here's the question that we were kind of tossing back and forth a little bit earlier. We're going to pose it to you, and I'll go ahead and read it. It says, Dax Harwood has had some fantastic bouts recently with Jay Lethal, Claudio Castagnoli, Adam Cole, and his upcoming match with Daniel Bryan. Do you believe, North Carolina bias aside, that Dax Harwood is a single star in the making? Johnny Faith, floor is yours.
I think so. I really do. I think either one of the FTR guys, I think they could definitely be single stars in the making. If you WrestleCade, they were at WrestleCade in North Carolina, and I think a 3-person tag team match, and that match was fantastic. And FTR, I always thought that when they were in WWE, that eventually they were going to split and have a singles run. I thought that's what eventually was going to come of that before they left and whatnot. But yeah, I think so. I mean, those are some fantastic wrestlers, and Dax is, obviously North Carolina homeboy, and I think so. I think he brings a lot to the table. Shows a lot of charisma. Definitely has the passion for it, and he also has that old school traditional mentality that I think people are trying to go back to right now. Some people are swearing back to the traditional ways.
Hey, no school like the old school. I've been saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Justin, Gabe, what do you guys got, man? Anything else? Because, I got a boatload of questions, but, I'm trying not to be a prima donna over here. At least I'm trying.
Okay. Well, with your military experience, I know you had to go through basic training. With basic training, do you believe the training in wrestling, when you first came in, you had to make sure you had the right cardio when you came into pro wrestling. Coming up into pro wrestling, in your training sessions, were they about what was harder, basic training or pro wrestling training for you?
See, they both were hard. I'm not going to lie. Like, you can't really take a lot. I mean, you can take a bunch of stuff from my wrestling background and I can transfer it to wrestling.
Yeah.
But as far as like getting in the ring, running the ropes, that cardio, I always think is way different than running on a treadmill or running on the street. Getting in the ring and actually running those ropes, ring cardio is what my trainer called it. That ring cardio, you can't find anywhere else besides inside a wrestling ring, no matter how hard you try outside of it. And, obviously the mentality, the big heart that the military, bred into me, the never quit attitude, as much as my body wanted to stop, it didn't, because I just kept driving on, because there's always an end goal. There's always something to accomplish. There's always something to mow down if need be. But taking a lot of things from wrestling or from the military into wrestling, versus like discipline. inside the ring work it's probably a tough thing, trying to learn things. I'm a left-handed person, so I had to learn right-handed, how to work right-handed when I was in the military, because I always had to switch up, ambidextrous when the time came for it. So transitioning into like footwork, people talk about your footwork and stuff like that. Obviously, the military disciplines you with marching and stuff like that, so that your footwork kind of, needed some work, but, it wasn't nothing. Still always working on it, obviously, can always be better at it. But the bumping, you had to get used to, stuff like that as well. But, the inside the ring work is something you can't prepare for unless if you get inside the ring and actually do it.
Respect to the guys that got the balls to go ahead and do that. Alpha, what else you got for my guy Johnny Faith here? He's got a huge match coming up this Saturday, baby. Wrestle Brawl 2 in the heart of Kansas, KWA, man. What do you got for my guy?
Honestly, I gotta get some note cards next time just to write up if we ever get a guest in the future. But I kind of want to answer the question, which is what do you have to say to your competition come for that match? Like what do you think is going to set you into this? Like, what's your mentality going forward?
Oh, into the Saturday's match. Oh, so back in June he tore my knee actually, and I was on the shelf for about 5 or 6 months. And Justin was talking about the War Games match that he saw in the blue cage. That was actually my return. I came back to wrestling after that. So I came back. I was the mystery opponent in the Alliance against the Empire. We got a big victory over the Empire. Saw a little bit of crumbling at the end. I don't know if anyone else out there saw it too. I saw it. Saw a little bit of discombobulation going on between the members. I was granted this boot camp match somehow. I didn't even ask for it. I got a phone call and was like, hey, you and Gambino boot camp match, XWE United Liberty.
They want to put butts in the seats. That's what it is. Billy Simmons is not a dumb person. That's why.
So I guess they saw that, the violence that I shed at Haunted Havoc. I guess they said, hey, we got to give him his rematch, because I was already owed a rematch. And then they tried to end my career in June. And ain't nothing going to keep me down. And I'm coming back on Saturday for my United Liberty Championship that I was cheated out of. And there was nobody and nothing going to stand in my way. And I give a big salute to that.
I'll salute to that, my friend. Hell yeah. I only wish I could watch the match, up close. But I hope Renee can hook me up with the match itself.
Oh, bro, absolutely, man. No, the XWE is on point with their YouTube channel, man. They're who knows? There might even be a live stream. If there is, I'll make sure you get your hands on it. Well, Johnny, for me, it comes down to something more simple, more basic. And I know we talked a lot about what you've done up to this point in your professional wrestling career, but even before then, I'm curious, like, what's your motivation? What's your inspiration? Is it your wife, your daughter, your parents, your brothers, your sisters? Like, what is your purpose? What is the American hero's objective when he shows up to wrestle? Like, what impression do you want people to take away when they see Johnny Faith in the squared circle?
So I started wrestling because I wanted to honor people that I have lost in the military, in my life, anybody that impacted me, my uncle, whoever. I wanted to honor them, and I wanted to keep their memory alive. So, I have tights with, dog tags with, initials of people who are no longer with us that I honor every time I step into the ring. I want to be a person of honor. I want to honor this country, all the veterans, past and present, the veterans that gave their life for this country, for the freedoms we have. For my dad passed away in February. So I just want to, be the best wrestler I can be for him. He got to see me wrestle twice in person, and, it took 2 years for that, but I'm happy that he got to see me wrestle in person. So I want people to see, the the homage that I pay to everyone, whether it's fans, whether it's people that I have, lost, whether it's other wrestlers, I just want to be an inspiration, and let everyone out there know that no matter what the heck life tosses at you, you can break it down and you can reach for the stars and you can take what's yours if you believe.
Oh, baby.
And
love to hear that.
Good stuff.
Wow, man. That passion and that enthusiasm is exactly why the fans get up off their feet every time they hear that music, bro. I've seen it over and over. That's why the talent comes up to me. I'm just a ring announce guy, right? Or was. But everybody comes up to me and go, man, what was it? What'd you think? What'd you think, man? I'm like, every bit of feedback that I ever give back to a wrestler during intermission or after the show is like, the fans did X or Y or Z. The reaction that they gave you was this. It's never about the moves. It's never about the botches. It's always like, did you connect? And Johnny, since I've seen you, bro, the electricity in the building goes higher and higher and higher, dude. So I don't know how you capture that. I don't know what they're putting in the Kool-Aid over in Kansas. But you guys, man, like, you guys get those fans going. The connection you have there, especially, I think, because it's the one that I've seen, really, really resonates, man. Is there something special about that connection that you have with the XWE faithful and in this scenario, the KWA?
Yeah, because before I even trained as a wrestler, I was actually an XWE fan for about a year and a half. I would go to XWE shows every month. I'd, VIP and whatnot. And then eventually one day I just decided to message the page and see if they needed any extra help. And that's when, the head trainer, KWA head trainer, Mr. Billy Simmons, messaged me and said, hey, I'm going to start the training facility back up. Are you interested? And of course, my cards were all in. So, and then they, XWE fans, they saw me as a fan next to them with the sign. And, 6 months later, I'm in the ring,
Same thing with me, bro. I was just the loudest fan in the building, talking the most trash. And they're like, oh, you do a podcast? I'm like, yeah, we hit a little bit here or there. Like, you want to do commentary? I was like, yeah. I'm like, you want to pay me to come here and talk trash about wrestling? I'm paying you to do that right now. So it just worked. Dude, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's crazy how it happens so organically, man.
Yeah, they saw me come up. They saw me come up. There was a faction before the Empire called the American Way. And, the day I
signed, rest in peace, Bubba Sutton. Yeah, let me just say that.
The day I was signing my contract, to be an XWE wrestler, they came out and powerbombed me through a table.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they tried to send me home early, and obviously that didn't hold me down at all, one bit. But
yeah, woke you up.
But yeah, these fans, they saw me come up, so they saw me as a fan, and then they saw me as a wrestler, and that was what I was talking about earlier about the inspiration, because seeing me next to them, this could be them, in a year. They could be in the ring, it could be them. My story could be their story. If you really want to do it, put in the work and you can definitely get it done.
Wow, man.
Their story could be to face you. And who knows?
It could happen.
It's true.
Dude, that's incredible. Well, you know what? We could keep going, but I think I want to play into these competitive juices you have flowing, my friend, because I know it's just a matter of hours before this takes place, and I want to go ahead and present it to the members of the Wrestle Talk family. This is it, Johnny. This is the moment that you and the XWE have been waiting for the opportunity to take that championship from the Empire, from Dickie Richards, and most importantly, from Joey Gambino. So if you wanted to deliver a message, if he was sitting here in front of us right here, right now, what would you say to the current United Liberty champion, Joey Gambino?
I would say, Gambino, I'm going back to basics. I'm going back to fundamentals. We're going back to boot camp. We're going back to where I was born, where the American hero came from, where the intensity, where the fire, and where the violence will put you down. And I walk out the new XWE United Liberty champion.
Whoa, I love that, baby.
Ooh.
That's the kind of passion that gets people in the building, baby. I absolutely love it. And I'm sure Joey Gambino will get that message. I know he's been watching you very closely. I know you've been watching him very closely. And I can only say this. You guys are definitely on opposite sides of the fence on this. He's a mafioso. He's done years in prison. And you're the kind of guy that puts guys in prison, right? So oil meets water, man. Is there anything in particular about Joey Gambino that you think might give you a little bit of trouble this coming Saturday night at Wrestle Brawl?
I'm more worried about that snake Dick Richards at ringside, actually, because we all saw I was the XWE United Liberty champion until Awakening, and Dick Richards tried to get involved, distracted the referee. I got cracked with a cane, and I lost my championship. So I'm more worried about Snake Dick Richards than I am Joey Gambino, because I got enough for him. But Dick Richards wants to try to slide in there. He's going to get some of me too.
So if all things were equal, you feel like you're a superior fighter and wrestler to Joey Gambino, but we know things won't be equal with the Empire. But you really do believe that, Johnny Faith?
I believe me and Joey Gambino could go toe to toe. I believe, he's torn my knee, so I believe that's going to be, a focal point for him. He beat me down, almost put me out of action permanently, and I got to prepare for that, and I got to prepare for pretty much anything. They've made my life a living hell for like the last year, pretty much, beating me down from behind, 2-on-1s, 4-on-1s, 5-on-1s, and I got to prepare for it all. So I believe with my mentality, and I believe with everything that I've been doing since I've stepped away from professional wrestling, that I have the mentality and the skill set to walk away with the championship.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little static. Who's playing? What are you guys playing music for? It's not the end of the show yet.
Lucy.
Oh, that's who it is.
Well, what do we have here? The American hero, Johnny Faith. I've been sitting back and I've heard enough of your mouth, Johnny.
I really don't care what you have to say. We just will meet in the squared circle Saturday, and I'll let this say all I need, because I am done, and I am coming for that XWE United Liberty Championship, Joey Gambino. And I promise you, it is over between us after this, after I walk away with the championship.
That's exactly what's not going to happen, Johnny. Remember, punk, it's not just Joey Gambino. It's Valenti Paz. It's the illustrious Ray Leone. It's Dick Richards. It's the entire Empire. And you won't have the Alliance with you on this night, punk. It looks like you're coming all alone.
Whoa. Okay, hold on a second. First of all, I listen, the Empire is out of control. First you take over XWE, then you come and take over the Wrestle Talk podcast. I mean, have a little respect. At least slide your boy a 20 under the table or something if you're going to take over my podcast, okay? That was damn disrespectful. I got my man from Florida. I got the Alpha here. I got Justin Waits all the way from Seattle, and you just want to pop in, and you don't even have the title over your shoulder, Gambino? Maybe it's you who should be sleeping with the fishes. Maybe it's you that should be the next Luca Brasi, okay? Because you show up here, you disrespect us, you disrespected a military veteran in his greens, my guy. You think we forgot about that, bro? You think the threats that you guys have made towards me and my family, which is why I will not be at Wrestle Brawl 2, you guys got some explaining to do. You guys stole Stormy Renee's women's championship. Dick Richards literally took the belt from a woman, bro. There's nothing more cowardly. This is not the mafia that I remember growing up watching. This is not no Don Corleone stuff. This is way out of line, Gambino, and you know it.
Let me cut you off right there, Renee. You're going to talk about championships. You see,
finally,
this is what Johnny's after. And let me tell you something. Johnny Faith will never see this championship ever again. This is my title. And I have brought it to the Empire, and I have brought prestige back to this championship. I have brought glory back to this championship, something American hero like Johnny Faith couldn't do. Because Johnny could never do what Gambino could do. Johnny could never do what an Empire can do.
What in the world? Gambino, you talk about empires. All great empires crumble. And at Haunted Havoc, we saw just a little bit of disassociation after you guys all lost. And I think that after I take that XWE United Liberty Championship from you on Saturday, that crumbling is going to continue until there's nothing left. Because like I just said, all empires fall. And you guys are on your way down.
Yeah, so you think so, punk. Let me tell you something, Johnny. Something that all these people need to know. I'll give you this. We've had a hell of a rivalry for the last year or so. But what it comes down to it is this, Johnny. The Midwest mafioso Joey Gambino has beat you twice, pinning your shoulders to the mat. I'm the man who tore the ligament in your knee and put you out for 5 months. Has anybody ever put you out before? No, because nobody's Joey Gambino. Nobody's the Midwest mafioso. And right now, you're looking at the man who is the 2-time United Liberty champion. And there's no way you're ever getting this back, punk.
And I think we've lost Gambino. Listen, I can't even listen. First of all, I apologize. I felt like we had played our security, made sure that we had everything in line, but somehow the Empire continues to do what the Empire does and infiltrate and destroy everything that they put their hands on. Johnny, I don't even know what to say, man. I'm very, very sorry for this interruption.
He just wants to come in and talk. That's all the Empire does is talk. There's no follow through. And if it is, it's through snake and cheating ways. So that's all they're going to do is just try to somehow get inside my head or something like that. It doesn't matter. They can't get inside my head. There's no getting inside my head. Because on Saturday, the war to end all wars is going to end. And I'm going to walk out with that championship. And the Empire is still going to crumble when it all is said and done.
Gibby, I thought you were gone. What are you doing back here again, dude? Seriously, can we have our show back?
This is a hostile takeover, punk. Let me tell you something. The illustrious one, Ray Leone, pays a good price. And he asked me to come on this show to set Johnny straight. Let me tell you something. If you know anything about the mafia, Renee, you know that a mafioso will do anything it takes if the money's right. And with the Empire, the money's right.
All right, enough. You know what? I'm done with this. Get this guy out of here. You know what, Gambino, goodbye. Goodbye. Finally, we've got regained control of this broadcast. And again, I apologize to everybody. the Empire, it just runs rampant here and everywhere that they go. They're like a damn virus. They're like a damn virus everywhere they go. UUCW, anywhere in the KWA. Johnny, I really hope for my sake and for the sake of everybody else that you end the United Liberty reign of one Joey Gambino. Because honestly, I'm sick of these power crazed maniacs.
I'm gonna do whatever I can to walk out with the championship, with the United Liberty Championship around my waist. He is definitely gonna get the heart and soul of Johnny Faith on Saturday. I guarantee you that.
Woo! Justin,
yo,
Alpha, you guys got anything before we close out with the game show challenge? Man, I'm exhausted
Man,
dealing with
that,
these damn Empire goons, bro. I'm worn out.
That took me for a loop right there. I wasn't ready for that. So
the Mafia's still a thing. Who knew? Who knew? Alpha, what do you got for us, baby?
Well, I just got to say, be sure to give Gambino one for me, okay? Because I'm hearing this man running his mouth, and I definitely want you to shut it when you get that belt back, okay?
And to my guy, Aaron Wallace here and his puppet, little Jamie, bro, I'm trying to ban these guys. I pay for this service so that we can do this. I have no idea how they're taking over the broadcast, bro. If there's anything else I could do, I promise you that I would be doing it. But thankfully, it looks like Joey Gambino is out of here for this evening, and we do have one last bit of business to get through, and that's tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Johnny, all of us are in your corner, and we're not going to let you leave here unless you're 100% prepared for not only the physical games that Joey Gambino, the Empire, are going to play, but also the mental games. Sir, are you willing to join us for tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge?
Sure, why not?
Yeah! And guess who you get to go up against tonight?
It don't matter. I guess we'll see.
The one and only prime time Justin Waits. Are you gentlemen ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
3-0, baby.
Let's go, folks. Let's go. Once again for episode 419 of the Wrestle Talk Podcast, folks. Let's go ahead and get into tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's edition of the world-renowned Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. In a matter of moments, I will be presenting you, gentlemen, with a variety of professional wrestling topics. Tonight's contest is going to be contested in a best 2 out of 3 falls. Our contestants this evening are going to be the Wrestle Talk Podcast very own Justin Primetime Wade and quite possibly the future XWE United Liberty Champion, the one and only, the American hero, Johnny Faith. Gentlemen, in a matter of moments, I'm going to ask you 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer to the question, simply shout out your answer. The first person to score 2 out of 3 falls will win tonight's game show challenge. Do you gentlemen understand the rules?
Yep.
Perfect. Tonight's Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge category is WWF/WWE Intercontinental Champions. Okay? Intercontinental Champions. Make note. And Alpha, if there's any discrepancy in who answered first, you are going to be the judge because they can shout practically at the same time as soon as they think they know their answer. So you're going to be my judge of who you think said it first if it comes down to it. You got it?
Heard.
Awesome. So, gentlemen, Tonight's Wrestle Talk podcast game show category again is WWE/WWF Intercontinental Championships. I will give you information about 3 professional wrestlers who have held the WWF/WWE Intercontinental Championship. Once again, when you think you know what wrestler I'm talking about, simply shout out your answer. And kudos to these questions, because I was a little upset that Gunther didn't make it on Survivor Series, but we'll save that conversation for next week. Question number 1, and I do believe we're going to populate the screen here with the question. It reads as follows. This member of the AEW roster.
Nikes.
Okay, wow, that was quick. Alpha?
That went to excuse me. Can I get to I went to Johnny Faith.
Johnny Faith. Very quick answer. Wow. Just as the question went up on the screen, we immediately got an answer. That means 1-0 for the American hero. Hey, that rhymed. It's kind of cool. Question number 2. This 2019 WWE Hall of Famer only held 1 championship in WWF.
Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan is incorrect.
Honky Tonk Man?
Honky Tonk Man is incorrect. Let me double check that. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Let me retract my last statement. The Honky Tonk Man is correct. 2-0. Okay, but here's the deal.
You beat me.
Not yet. The third question is actually worth 2 points. This changes the entire game. So, Justin, you are still in it. Be ready with the trigger finger. Question number 3. This 2014 WWE Hall of Famer held the WWF IC Championship on 2 occasions. He also
Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior is correct. Justin Waits has just tied the Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. And guess what, folks? We ain't done yet.
Good luck, Johnny.
Ooh, the drama.
Yeah, man, good luck.
Here is the final question.
This shit's fun.
This wrestler holds the distinction of being the only wrestler who being the only wrestler who he and his brother have both held the WWE/WWF Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, no, Bret Hart.
That is incorrect.
Ooh.
After winning the championship on 3 occasions, this wrestler moved on to TNA Wrestling. He is presently on the AEW roster, often guiding members. What was that? Did I get a response? No response. Often guiding members of the Nightmare Factory or guiding pro wrestlers at his school in Texas. Please name him. His brother held the IC belt. He did too. I will throw in as a bonus that he is a very unique member of the Attitude Era.
Goldust? Justin Ronald?
Oh, shit.
Goldust is correct, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
Your
Best
game show challenge, the one, the only, Johnny Faye.
That was a hard.
That was good.
Wow, what a contest. Johnny Faith, you had it on lockdown. A little bit of the valley there for a moment, but at the end, you were clutch and you captured your win here tonight and Justin Waits' very first loss in the Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. Guys, come on. Let's give Johnny Faith a round of applause. All right, well.
Hey, it's all fun, brother.
Yeah.
You guys killed that. What'd you think, Alpha Man? That was a little nerve-wracking, wasn't it?
I'm going to be honest. That last question, I thought I knew it, and then I realized, wait, they're not actually brothers. My answer was Christian Cage.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I remember.
Not
But no, it was absolute clutch from Johnny. That was fantastic. But Justin with the last the one prior to that definitely caught me off guard because I didn't know that answer.
Yeah, me neither.
That's very
so
good.
I was like, wait, 2-time champ. Oh.
Yeah.
And all I just gotta ask is I hope you get me on the next one because I love trivia.
I love that.
Stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Team Wrestle Talk for putting together another wonderful show, guys. Episode 419, almost in the books. Johnny Faith, we got just 2 bits of business that we got to hit you with before you go. Number one, man, thank you for being here and making the time out of your busy schedule. It's nothing compared to driving the 1,200 miles from Southeast Georgia to Kansas City, but I know a Tuesday night can be tough for almost anybody. So thank you for being here and for making the time. Allow me and the guys to be the first to welcome you in as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk podcast family, man. Thank you again. Thank you again. And number 2, and more importantly, before you go, drop the social, drop the information about the show, because in reality, that's what people really care about, where they can see you do what you do best, and that's kick ass, baby, in the squared circle. Hit us with it, Johnny.
So this weekend, Salina, Kansas, Salina Fieldhouse, XWE, and PCW, Kansas Wrestling Alliance, Wrestle Brawl 2. Ricky Morton and his son Kerry Morton will also be in the house. The Mortons in tag team action. I'll be in action in a boot camp match against Joey Gambino for the XWE United Liberty Championship. Remington War and Paradox for the Heartland Championship. It all goes down this Saturday night, Salina, Kansas. You can catch me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at JohnnyFace704. And, you know, I'm always on Facebook. Try to post daily. But this weekend, Wrestle Brawl 2, historic, biggest event 2022 in Kansas professional wrestling, I think. There's going to be a lot of good matches at that Salina Fieldhouse out there in Salina, Kansas. Great way to end 2022.
And Johnny, you got to do me a personal favor. When you see Rusty Rex over there salivating over the Empire, just knock his nachos off the table for me, bro. He's always eating in the middle of our broadcast, and it's so damn disrespectful. I don't know what happened to Rusty Rex. The Rusty Rex we used to know and love, he's completely changed, and I hope you put him and the Empire in their place this upcoming Saturday at Wrestle Brawl, bro. You have yourself a wonderful night. Thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you, sir, and I promise when I win the XWE United Liberty Championship back, he's going to be the first person's face I hold it in front of.
That's right, man. Don't forget to give your boy tonight all a shout out too. I've been with you, Johnny.
Definitely.
I'm a lover, not a fighter, though. I mean, otherwise I would have been in there
with you. I got
your
back, man.
My guy. I love that. Have a good one, Johnny. We'll catch you next time, all right?
Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
Thank you guys so much.
Pleasure, dude.
Salute to all you.
My guy, hey, like Airwallet, hey, hoorah, baby. Take it easy. Peace.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, is Johnny gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah,
well, I mean, he can still hear us, but he's there.
He's got this big fight coming up, so I threw that. I didn't want him going in with a negative head.
You're going to make me do it to you, aren't you, Justin? You're going to make me do it to you. It's just one more for the night.
Fucking bullshit!
Yeah.
All right, well, Alpha, we'll let you go ahead and say your piece before you get out of here, man. Me and Justin, I know we had a tremendous time having you a part of the show today. Totally unexpected. And again, if you didn't have the cue cards, it's okay not to mention it. We all knew that it's okay. Well, we'll get you acclimated, bro. But you are wonderful. You're an awesome addition. And I got to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, man, you can join us every week.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate the offer, and I absolutely want to show up more often because it's fun, like you said, to be able to meet with people who appreciate wrestling and who, you know, we can all get together and despite our backgrounds, despite who we are, we can all come together and agree on or disagree on things that we all find interest in. And you know, I hope to become a regular stay here, and I'm honored to be a part of the Wrestle Talk podcast family. And
all right, well, we'll have our people call your people. How about that?
I'd love that.
Let's do it, baby. Have a good night. Well, Justin,
that was fun,
our first tango together. I know I have a tremendous reputation of being a prima donna, and I promise I only do it because I get nervous and I hate silence on radio. So just know that the interactions that I've had with you from the first moment that we had a chance to talk to each other, in a chat to the moment that we are in now where we're getting to work together, bro. It's been enjoyable.
Good.
You're
Thank
an uber
you.
professional. And you know what resonates with me more than anything else, bro? The passion that you have for this sport, whether you watch it every day, once a week, once a month, like it's in you, bro. You know what I mean? It's not on you, it's in you. And thank you, bro. Thank you for being a part of Wrestle Talk, and thank you for taking this ride with me tonight, baby. Episode 419 was special. It was special.
Brother, 2023 is going to be 30 years of me being a wrestling fan. And my old man bought me my first, he just by chance bought me an issue of WWF magazine. And it had Yokozuna on the cover. It had the Royal Rumble results from '93 where he won it. And I never looked back, man. And I started wrestling. I met Luke Roberts back in 2004. I started wrestling in 2004 and wrestled on, for about 10 years. And now I'm on the media side of things, and I'm loving it, man. Because I did a little radio when I was in college, and I've always wanted to get back into some type of sports media, and I'm really enjoying this ride, man.
Well, yeah, and guess what, man? It's us. It's the FWWC tonight on Thursday. It's I-70 Sports Media. So it's, it's so much bigger than just even what we do here every Tuesday night. So I'm looking forward to the next time we get an opportunity to do this. And, man, crazy that it went down to the last question, man. You had a hell of a comeback and came up like that short, bro. So I'm excited to see you. And maybe one day we'll end up being matched up against each other. Who knows?
Yeah, man. It's just fun, man. Everybody has a good time. Everybody's laughing. I love it, man. I don't know very many people up here in Seattle. My wife took a job up here, and we don't know anybody up here. So this is kind of like, I'm kind of keen on seeing Luke Roberts on here, because I've known him since 2004. He's my brother, and I get to hang out with him, and now I get to hang out with you guys. I've known Rodell for over 10 years, and he's a good man. And Jeremy, it's interesting. Jeremy's doing a good job with his show, and I'm very proud of him. He's a young man, and he's got a lot of potential, not for other things. So
and we got the Alpha too. I mean, this young guy that just joined us. I mean, he's a friend of mine. He's a member of FWWC. I didn't expect him to stay on the whole night, but he held it down with us for like 2 hours, bro.
Well, almost everybody did, except Chris had to go. We understand, but he was here longer than
an hour and 20 minutes at least.
So but this is the longest time since I've been doing this with you guys. This is the longest show I've been on.
I go long every week, so just know that.
No, that's okay, man. So
every week, bro. Well, I'll tell you this.
Having a blast, brother.
I tell you this. I'm looking forward to the next time we can do this, and the next time we do this as a show, as an entirety, is next Tuesday night for episode 420. Guys, be there or be square. Okay. Don't miss it. It's going to be another tremendous show. We got a pair of guests lined up for you for next week, but we're still going to do high spots. Perry will be here. FWWC will be here. The grind continues, ladies and gentlemen, as we work our way steadily towards episode 500 of the Wrestle Talk podcast that will be here in absolutely no time. Justin, have yourself a great night. And you know what? We're going to close it out with some music. You good with that?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, sir.
I love that, Johnny Faith team. Let's go ahead and one more time, guys, and let's get out of here. Good night.
I'm indestructible. I won't break. I take down whoever get in the way. It's the little pit bull, Johnny Faith. Nobody safe when they see the chains break. Let's go to war. Feel the rage. I came to fight until my hands raised. American hero, Carolina made. I'm a star, earn my stripes while I fight through the maze. Mind mischievous, oblivious to the pain. Unless I'm dishing it out, revenge on a cold plate. This tape for the beat. I got too much at stake. Don't get too close to the fire.